have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, Dolphins starting center Connor Williams out the rest of the season with a torn ACL. Receiver Tyreek Hill is day-to-day with an ankle injury. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert will undergo season-ending surgery on his fractured right index finger today. Easton Stick takes over as LA's starter. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes expressed disappointment in his actions as well as regret for his outburst on the sideline Sunday when the offsides call that wiped out what would have been the go-ahead touchdown with under 2 minutes left in the loss to the Bills, and an incensed Mahomes screamed at the officials. ESPN NFL analyst Dominique Foxworth.
I think that part of his reaction, while it may not have been calculated in the moment, he's desperate. And I do think that that permeates the team. So acting like a complete maniac, embarrassing yourself, it is going to help. I promise you, practice on Wednesday is going to be a little bit more intense because the best player that anyone has ever seen play football and is always calm and under control lost his mind.
Dominique on Get Up. NBA Suns power forward Kevin Durant left ankle sprain out tonight against the Warriors. Bradley Beal is set to return for Phoenix from a back injury.
Brought to you by the Capital One Venture X card. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel. Plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Scott Kushner will be with us next hour. We'll talk some Pels. Got a win last night. Sean Salisbury here in hour number 3. Our chat with Shea Dixon, which we normally have on Tuesdays, we're going to bump that to Wednesday. And tomorrow's actually really relevant because Wednesday is 1 week from the start of the early signing period. So very significant. We'll have Shea Dixon with us tomorrow on the show. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
So we spent a lot of Monday taking the victory lap with Jaden Daniels after an incredible season, punctuated with the Heisman Trophy on Saturday in New York City. And we started to look ahead, both immediate short-term and long-term. And the immediate short-term is that on Monday, LSU hit the practice field to begin their preparations for the ReliaQuest Bowl against Wisconsin on New Year's Day. And Jaden Daniels was on a plane home from New York on Monday. So LSU began preparations for the bowl game without their quarterback. Jaden Daniels has still yet to announce if he plans on playing in the ReliaQuest Bowl. You know, my opinion on the matter is that he likely won't and probably shouldn't practice or play in the ReliaQuest Bowl. There's nothing else for Jaden Daniels to prove, and only risk if he was to go out there and play in the bowl game. But so much of that conversation has spawned a different conversation, which is about the future of the quarterback position at LSU. Now, This isn't a new topic. I've told you how I feel. LSU went in home last week with MJ Morris, the transfer quarterback from NC State. I've said it openly. LSU would be negligent not to add a quarterback because, as I've said, your returned ankle, a sick day for Garrett Nussmeier, a cheap shot from Dallas Turner away, or Nuss just doesn't develop the way we all think and hope he might, from having Ricky Collins as your only option as a redshirt freshman, and all we've seen him do is hand off the football against Grambling. And so I mentioned that on the show on Monday, and someone sent me a note and said, well, Matt, then what is the point of signing Ricky Collins? And that's a great question. And the answer is, there may not be a good answer. Now, that's counterintuitive, I know, because we have all watched and loved college football our whole lives, and you should sign a quarterback in every single signing class. You need depth at that position. You can't allow yourself to be in a position where you don't have depth. Except we're living in an era of college football right now that is counterintuitive, that is flipped on its head what we have all come to know throughout our entire lives of watching college football. You want a quarterback? Go get one. Just go into the transfer portal and nab you a quarterback. When I look at LSU's greatest success at quarterback over the last decade, you know this, it's all been transfers. Zach Mettenberger, Danny Etling, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels. You all understand what I understand. LSU hasn't had a quarterback it recruited out of high school finish their career at LSU since Jordan Jefferson and Jarrett Lee. I guess you could throw an asterisk with Miles Brennan, but he retired from football. Bottom line is, the way that we are all looking at the quarterback position in 2023, 4 and beyond is just dramatically different. You don't have to sign a high school quarterback. Now, it's wise to do so. And specifically to the question about Ricky Collins, and it's just Ricky Collins because of the way I phrased it. You're a turned ankle away from having Ricky Collins be the guy next year as a redshirt freshman. And this year in his true freshman season, all we saw Ricky Collins do was hand off the ball against Grambling. I want to be very clear. This isn't a commentary on Ricky Collins. I liked Ricky Collins at Woodlawn. I was very excited when LSU signed him, and I'm very optimistic about his future in Baton Rouge. And you hope that all the time spent invested in recruiting Ricky Collins and developing him pays dividends, and he becomes a great college quarterback. I would love to see that. We also haven't seen that from a guy that LSU has recruited out of high school in more than a decade. So the odds are it's not going to work out for Ricky Collins. Again, that's not to say definitively it won't. It's just that the odds are it won't. Same with Colin Hurley behind him and what we all hope is Bryce Underwood behind him in 2025. Could it? Absolutely it could. Jalen Milroe got Alabama in the college football playoff. He was recruited out of high school. Carson Beck played in the SEC championship game against Alabama. He signed with Georgia out of high school. Are there exceptions? Absolutely. There are exceptions. But the rule is transfers rule the day. And why wouldn't you have an experienced veteran player at the most important position in team sports if you can? So the reason that you recruit Ricky Collins or any high school player in this era is because you hope they stay and develop. But in the likelihood that they don't, you have the transfer portal as a tool at your disposal. So I phrase it to you this way. If just completely in a vacuum, if LSU could go into next season with Garrett Nussmeier, a third-year collegiate, either a redshirt sophomore or a true junior, who's attempted 1,000 career passes, Ricky Collins is a redshirt freshman and Colin Hurley as a true freshman, or only Nussmeier, Collins, Hurley, which would you choose? The answer is really clear and obvious. You're going for the deeper, more experienced, more talented quarterback room. So you recruit the kid out of high school. Of course you do. Because maybe he stays and maybe he develops and maybe he becomes a really good player. And that's great. Ideally, that's the case. But history has shown us, certainly over the last decade, that those guys don't stay. And they don't stay and become more productive. They leave and seek a better opportunity to play somewhere else. And sometimes it's multiple opportunities. Look at TJ Finley. He left LSU and went to Auburn, left Auburn, went to Texas State, and this year got Texas State into a bowl game. Had a great season. Good for him. Look at Max Johnson. Started at LSU, left, went to Texas A&M, played, got hurt, up, down. Now he's at North Carolina, his third stop. It's the nature of the game. It's just different now. And yes, you recruit guys out of high school, especially elite guys if you can get them. But that doesn't mean you ignore the opportunity that this system provides you, which is to go add depth. So to the question, why even recruit Ricky Collins or any high school quarterback, you could go the route of not doing it. Look at what Deion did in Colorado. His offensive line was atrocious this year. What did he do? He went and attacked the portal, got a whole new offensive line out of the portal in like a week. You can do it that way. But you don't want to have to rely on that every single year. So just like at receiver, you build out of the high school ranks, you supplement out of the portal. Cornerback, you build out of the high school ranks, you supplement out of the portal. You can add a really good player at that position, you do. Quarterback is no different. You sign a quarterback in every class. But when you have the opportunity to add a veteran player at the most important position in team sports, you absolutely do it. Brian Kelly said it last week when he met with reporters. Said every decision they make, they will make with complete transparency, and they'll make it in the best interest of LSU, not in the best interest of one player. If you think by adding a player like MJ Morris means Ricky Collins transfers, okay. In 2024, would I rather third-year MJ Morris or redshirt freshman Ricky Collins? The answer is MJ Morris. And I'm just using MJ Morris because I know LSU went in home with him and they're recruiting him. But my point is a guy who has been on the field, who has played major college football, who's 21 years old, who's been in a college system for 3 years, or a redshirt freshman, give me the experienced guy 100 times out of 100. So this is a conversation that's going to continue to be had. We're going to continue to talk about this, and LSU is going to continue to pursue quarterbacks out of the portal, and they should. And they should do it regardless of the effect it would have on the guys currently on your roster. Because if a guy currently on your roster gets upset that you're pursuing depth or a transfer at that position, then that's evidence of a guy that you probably don't want to hand a job to anyway. So bring him in and compete. Give me experience and depth always at the most important position in team sports. So why do you recruit Ricky Collins? Why do you recruit high school players? Because you hope they stay and develop and become really good players. The reason you recruit transfers is because of the probability that they don't. Okay, it's after further review. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer of LSU, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints, and, of course, the official beer of AFR. This holiday season, you're going to be having family gatherings, get-togethers. Make sure you have plenty of the great taste of Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana this football season with Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Okay, we'll knock out a quick break, y'all. Let me knock out this break. We'll come back. Dennis Allen met with reporters yesterday after the Saints' historically bad win. Seems like an oxymoron, doesn't it? But it was. We'll get to that. Also, another mock draft dropped today and some projections on the probability of where the Saints will be drafting this coming spring. We'll get to all of that as we move through today's show, and glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery with 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar. Sports on TV, it's Pluckers. Hey, tonight, both Pluckers locations are closed. Every year, our guy, Stevie Levy, the king of the wing, has his holiday party for the full Plucker staff. So they shut down the restaurant for one night and allow that opportunity for their Christmas party. So that's tonight. So no Pluckers tonight, no sports trivia tonight, no Kids Eat Free tonight. So today, they're closed at both Pluckers, but they will be open again starting at 11 a.m. for lunch on Wednesday. So make plans to get on by Pluckers. Hey, look, remember the Bluebonnet location. If your wife's going to do the Christmas shopping, it's easy. Hand her the credit card. You go to the Pluckers right there in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Eat wings, drink beer, watch sports on TV while she goes and does all the Christmas shopping. Feels like a pretty good trade, doesn't it? It's Pluckers. 2 locations. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Pluckers gift cards are great stocking stuffer. Pluckers, you like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Thank you, Acadiana, for over 56 years of allowing Corbell Toyota in Opelousas to take care of you and your automotive needs. Enjoy this holiday season with family and friends. From the Corbell Toyota family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated.
She thinks my tractor's sexy. It really turns her on. She's always staring at me while I'm chugging along.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
I'm a farmer's tan. I know that line, Muse. Down barrel, yeah. She thinks my tractor sexy. Nailed it.
Thought you might have been a little bit more up on it here.
Nailed it.
A week after.
What are you talking about? I nailed that, Muse.
Not really.
You're going to tell me I didn't nail that?
Yeah. I mean, you just made noise. You didn't really sing it.
No, I sang that. What are you talking about?
You really just kind of went down.
That is not true at all.
That's what happened.
I feel so accused.
Okay.
Tractor 6. See, I nailed it.
That part, yeah.
Turns you on.
That too.
Nailed it, see?
What about now?
Muse, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what else do I have to prove to you? You know?
There's more lyrics.
Along. Nailed that too,
That's
see?
just one word, yeah.
Muse, listen, you keep trying to accuse me of not knowing the words of this song. And I just keep going through it every time, and I keep nailing every single. Like, to farmers, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I know them all, Muse.
I mean, you're cherry picking there a little bit. Yeah, well.
Paulie, is he right? She thinks my track.
Well, okay.
Six. Nailed it. Again, Muse.
Perfect.
I mean, Paulie, this guy. I don't know why he's such a hater. Y'all get on by, see our friends at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. You want a John Deere in Louisiana, you're going to Sunshine. Bunkie and below, 17 locations. Tell you what, Muse, that's Kenny Chesney, noted Saints fan.
It is Kenny Chesney.
See, I know everything there is to know about this song.
Not everything.
All of the things. Everything there is to know about this song. All right. You know, Muse, if you go out to Saints camp, out of that Saints facility, they've probably got John Deere Gators running all the way through there,
Probably.
right? Yeah. Hauling all the little footballs and everything, all the gear, the tackling dummies all throughout the facility. It's not just tractors and combines and all that stuff. You need a Gator, they got you covered. It's Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I saw this statistic, which really puts into perspective. By the way, I'm really starting to get pissed off now. I'm an Enneagram 8. I default to anger. This phone number has called me 3 times since 2:45. Every 20 minutes. It's a 337 number, and it's a spam number. They've called me 3 times. Every 20 minutes now, they just keep calling me.
Okay, have you tried blocking the number?
Every 15 minutes, they keep calling me.
Have you tried blocking the number?
No.
That'd probably work.
No, I want to not block the number. I want to call. I'm going to curse them out is what I want to do.
You could do that too.
In the break. Call me back in the break, chump, so I can curse you out.
It's probably just recording though.
I don't care. I'll curse out the recording. Don't think I won't do it.
Yeah.
Don't think I won't do it.
I've been there.
So I saw this stat. How about this? You ready for this number?
I'm ready. Hit me with it.
Is everything in the world conspiring?
What happened now?
Is everything in the world conspiring to piss me off today?
I don't think so.
Freaking microphone never stays upright anyway. Okay, so I saw this.
Yeah.
This is according to NFL research. The Saints ended the game on Sunday against Carolina with 207 total yards. That's not the NFL research part. That's just you read a box score, you see that. That is the lowest total yardage in a victory since 1997 in a win over the Seattle Seahawks 26 years ago when the Saints were coached by Mike Ditka. That is a stunning amount of futility. That you went 26 years between winning games with that small of an offensive output. To take it a step further, since the merger in 1970, teams that have amassed 207 or fewer total yards are 25 and 175. Basically, 1 out of 7 times you do that, you'll win. Pretty incredible that the Saints were able to play that poorly and win the football game. That is an illustration of how bad Carolina sucks. But the Saints got a win that they absolutely had to get. Dennis Allen met with reporters on Monday recapping this win. And listen, you've got 4 games left, and it's just very clear. I mean, I don't need to spell this out for you, but in these last 4 games, you're going to have to win at least, just because of the way that it's going to fall with tiebreakers and in the division, you're going to have to win 3 of these games at least to be able to win this division. Now, if Tampa or Atlanta wins out, then you're SOL, specifically Tampa, because they've got the tiebreaker over you right now. But you're going to have to win at least 3 and probably get some help. Dennis Allen was asked, what he's hoping to see over these last 4 games in the last quarter of the season.
Our mindset last week was, going 1-0 and just focusing on Carolina and winning a game at home against Carolina. That was our focus last week. Our focus this week is going to be on the New York Giants and trying to win that game at home. And we're not going to look too far into the future about anything else. We're going to focus on the task at hand and try to go to the Dome and get another win.
The Giants come to the Superdome this week, and I know if you watch Monday Night Football, you saw the Giants score a win over Green Bay 24-22. Really impressive performance, actually, considering the adversity. The Giants looked like they were about to salt the game away. Saquon Barkley's running free down the right sideline. The Giants are going to get points, might just salt away the game. He gets tripped up, goes to the ground, fumbles without being contacted. The Packers get the ball, they go down and score. I mean, the whole place is shell-shocked, and there's Tommy DeVito, Paisan, leads the game-winning drive, and Randy Bullock kicks the game-winning field goal as time expires, and the Giants beat the Packers, who had been one of the hotter teams in the NFC, 24-22. So I think it's easy to look at that and say, man, the Saints really struggled against Carolina, and now they got to play the Giants, who are better than Carolina, which is true, but, I mean, everybody's better than Carolina. But remember, the Giants still have Tommy DeVito at quarterback, who's not a great player. It's a fun story. He's not a great player. And they have to go from playing a Monday night football game. So not only playing on Monday, but Monday night, so one fewer day of preparation, and they have to travel. So that is a huge disadvantage for the Giants this week coming to the Dome. The Saints have an extra day to prepare, an extra day to heal, all that stuff. Their week isn't as compressed, and they're at home. So, yes, I know the Giants won that game against Green Bay, and they've won 3 in a row. They beat Washington, New England, and now Green Bay. That's 3 in a row for the Giants, which is a nice way to get on track after they were 2-8. But ultimately, this is still a team that's just 2-5 away from home, and it certainly favors the Saints. The Saints should get this game at home against the Giants. As a matter of fact, Saints are a 6-point home favorite in this football game. A couple of the things that Dennis Allen updated on Monday as well. He was asked if they still have confidence in Blake Grupe. Now, Grupe's field goal percentage on the season has dropped below 80%. He's at 77% on the year, which is atrocious in 2023. If you're the Mendoza line is 80%, you've got to be above 80%. The average field goal percentage in the NFL right now is 85%. So to be at 77% is wholly unacceptable, and he snap hooked a 29-yarder, which I know he stared at the holder, and I mean, you could blame all you want for the laces and everything like that. It's 29 yards. I don't care if the laces are in or if you're kicking it with a steel-toed boot. You got to be able to make that. In any event, here was Allen on his confidence level in Blake Grupe.
I mean, he understands that he needs to kick the ball through the uprights. I think we all know that. I think he's a really talented young kicker. Sometimes with young players at any position, you're going to have some ups and downs. I've seen a number of kickers in our league that have had early struggles that are extremely talented and gone on to have exceptional careers. So we're going to let him fight through some of these struggles a little bit, and hopefully he'll continue to get better and we'll have some more consistency.
That's completely true. When you've seen kickers that struggle early find themselves and go on to great careers. I mean, we saw that with Garrett Hartley early in his career, who struggled and then really got on track for the playoff push in 2009 and kicked the most famous field goals in the history of this organization. And then shortly thereafter fell off again. He was great when they needed him to be great, but wasn't great before or really after for very long after the Super Bowl run. So that's true, but it's also not a league where you can redshirt a guy and patiently wait for him to be productive in season 3-4 of his career. Like, you're being paid, you have to go deliver. If you don't, you have to find a replacement. I don't know how much more of this they can take with Blake Grupe. You've got to find a better option. Look at Randy Bullock with the Giants. Hit the game winner yesterday. That's a journeyman kicker who's been in and out the league and is finding a spot right now with the Giants. And success is fleeting in the NFL. Same could be said for Jimmy Graham, who at one point in his career was arguably, I don't know that I would say the best tight end in the league, because he was still in the league at a time where Rob Gronkowski was going wild over the league. But Jimmy Graham was one of the best red zone threats and certainly had one of the best stretches that we've seen over a 3-year span in NFL history from a tight end. And his success after he left New Orleans was tough to come by, from Seattle and Chicago and Green Bay. And now he's back in New Orleans, and this is unfortunately a guy who just vanished. I mean, he caught the touchdown against Green Bay. He had one target against New England. We didn't see him again until the Detroit game. And now back-to-back weeks, he's got touchdown receptions. So on the season, he's got 4 catches on 5 targets. 3 of the 4 catches are touchdowns. And for a team that has been the worst in the NFL in the red zone, it's hard to fathom why you wouldn't have a red zone target, a threat like Jimmy Graham on the field. Dennis Allen was asked why it took so long to get Jimmy Graham involved.
The number of snaps that he's played has been limited, even in the last couple of games. The one thing that we feel like, man, there's an area of the field that we feel like this player can help us, and that's in the red area. And he's done that the last couple of weeks. And, but there's a lot of other snaps that go along in the game other than just the red area. So I think we got to continue to look at that balance. But I think he's earned the right to, get some more snaps.
By the way, the Saints have seen their red zone touchdown conversion percentage boost up to 50%, which has them tied with Seattle, Tampa, and Carolina for 22nd in the NFL. So the Jets, Pittsburgh, Tennessee, the Giants, Raiders, Vikings, Broncos, all below where the Saints are in the red zone right now. But some of the recent success has had them tick up a smidge to 50% now touchdowns in the red zone, thanks in part to Jimmy Graham getting a couple touchdowns the past 2 weeks. All right, Saints and Giants this weekend. Again, Giants traveling on a short week after playing Monday Night Football. The Saints get the extra day here, relative to the Giants anyway, and they are at home. Got to win. Saints got to win this weekend at home to give yourself a shot over the final three. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. Call 924-2020. Go for that consultation at 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com. I always tell you that at Williamson, it's eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. So you can have that eye exam. If you wear contacts or glasses, you can buy them at the Williamson Eye Center with their optical shop. Or if you want to learn more about a refractive procedure, they can help. But you should always have your annual eye exam. As a matter of fact, I had an annual eye exam a few weeks ago. I'm going back on Thursday for a follow-up with Dr. Blake. So I am practicing what I preach, and I encourage you to do the same. You should always go for that annual eye exam to make sure if you ever do have an issue, you're proactive about it. It's the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com. All right, you can always email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. That's how you can get your questions, comments into the show. We look forward to that. We will we'll talk some Pels in an hour from right now. Scott Kushner will be here. Pels got a win last night. Sean Salisbury in hour number 3. So still a lot to get to here. When we come back, we'll go around the SEC. There's a very familiar name to people in these parts who jumped into the transfer portal. Could that be a target for LSU? We'll get to that when we return on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. It's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Call 888-8888. You know the drill. Anywhere in the state of Louisiana, just call 888-8888. If you've been in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Gordon and his team have assisted tens of thousands of Louisianians who have been injured. They've recovered more than $2.6 billion, with a B, more than $2.6 billion in damages for their clients. If you've been injured, it's not your fault. Don't go at it alone. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Trust the great people at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. And, of course, Gordon loves to give back to the community. We've been telling you about the Gordon Gives bike giveaway coming up here in the coming days and weeks. You'll start to see pictures and videos of Gordon and his team giving away 488 bicycles to less fortunate children across our state. It's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Get Gordon and get it done.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokee, $10,000 off new Jeep Grand Cherokee, and all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an
He just takes the tractor another round and pulls the plow across the ground and sends up another prayer.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
A lot of people made jokes about the in-season tournament. Would you hang a banner for it, all that sort of stuff? Apparently the answer is yes. Lakers have announced they will hang a banner for the in-season tournament. It'll go up December the 18th. They'll hang it at Crypto.com Arena in L.A. It'll be a single banner, so instead of the gold banners that they have for their 17 championships, this will be a purple banner denoting the in-season tournament. It'll be a single banner, so in the future, should they win again, they'll just add years to that one banner instead of multiple banners should they win it again. Make all the jokes you want, but the Pelicans had won this. I'd be cool with them hanging a banner. Yes, would you be okay with the Pelicans hanging a banner had they won?
Yeah, I think it's a little different, but yeah.
Should they have a semifinal banner?
No.
Paulie,
God, no.
Poll question. Should the Pels hang a... I'll take anything I can get at this point, Muse.
Not a semifinal banner, man.
Ole Miss has a 2003 SEC West Championship banner on their stadium, okay?
And how lame is that?
I don't care. If you're Ole Miss and you've never won a damn thing, you celebrate it. We laugh because we've seen LSU win things.
And LSU actually won
in
the
this
SEC
instance. We are Ole Miss in this instance. We are the runts. We have never won anything. Give me an in-season semifinal banner. This is like the Final Four. We hang Final Four banners, don't we? You didn't win the NCAA tournament. You made a Final Four. Even when you go to the College World Series, you went to the College World Series. You had a College World Series deal on there. Although LSU dropped that.
Yeah, they only display national championships.
The Saints have a banner for season ticket sellouts.
Let's go!
Good Lord. They've won a Super Bowl. That's a problem.
Let's go!
They also do the division champion
I was fine with it
too.
whenever they had the Pete Maravich jersey up there. I don't know why they took that down. Bring back the Pete Maravich jersey from the Jazz years. Give me whatever you can give me. I mean, if you hang Final Four banners, you hang division banners, in the LSU football indoor facility, they got like 1995, 1996, or 1996-97 SEC West championship banners. At least they used to. I need to check to see if they still do. Point is, I'm starting the movement. Give me a Pelicans in-season semifinalist banner. If the great and mighty Los Angeles Lakers that have won 17 world championships are going to hang an in-season tournament championship banner, I want an in-season tournament Final Four banner. Are you making this the poll question?
I am. I'm typing it out right now.
I want to see the results, and don't you dare vote against this. Don't act like the great and mighty New Orleans Pelicans have some type of prestige and honor by which they should raise their nose at a banner honoring the semifinalists of the in-season tournament. Inject that banner into my veins. That's what I want to see. It's after further review. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions.
Texas A&M!
Linebacker Edgerrin Cooper, AP first-team All-American, announced he's entering the draft, will not play in the Texas Bowl. 6'3", 230-pounder. He's from Covington. Ended up being an awesome linebacker. LSU flat missed on him. Played in 45 games for the Aggies. Mel Kiper has him as the number one off-ball linebacker in the draft.
The Auburn Tigers.
This is a familiar name hitting the portal. Redshirt freshman defensive back Austin Osbury, set to become the 10th Auburn player to hit the transfer portal. Of course, Austin Osbury, former four-star prospect from Baton Rouge, prepped at U High, son of former Tiger Verge Osbury. Played in 4 games in 2022 as a true freshman, just 3 games this past year.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Vandy landed a commitment from Mississippi State transfer Stephen Losoya. Losoya was a 2-year starter for the Bulldogs at guard, previously started at Middle Tennessee before transferring to Mississippi State. He's a grad transfer with 1 season of eligibility remaining, 6'4", 320-pounder. By the way, Bradley Ashmore, their top lineman of this past season, announced his intention to enter the NFL draft.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Running back Chip Trayanum is set to transfer from Ohio State to Kentucky for the 2024 season. Began his career at Arizona State. Trayanum has 1 season of eligibility left. Kentucky, of course, is replacing Ray Davis. Ray Davis says he will play, however, in the Gator Bowl.
The Florida Gators.
JUCO 4-star defensive lineman Brian Taylor has committed to the Gators, 6'5", 270. Also took officials to Oklahoma State, Auburn, Georgia, and Tennessee. Florida now back to 20 commits for the 2024 class. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Big shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them, gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale, the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, the Raging Cajuns, and the Baton Rouge Zydeco. It's Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We will get to Scott Kushner in about 45 minutes. I'll ask him whether or not the Pels should hang an in-season tournament semifinalist banner. Is that what we would call it? The semi that you made the semis?
Yeah, because that's what it was.
I know it was the semis, but is that what they called it in Vegas? Did they call it the semifinals?
Yeah, the in-season tournament semifinals.
Semifinals. That's
the Western semifinals and the Eastern semifinals.
Let's go. LFG. Western semis.
That's what you should put on it. Just see if you can sneak it past anybody.
The Western semifinalists. All right, keep me up to date on the poll question. I'm trying to find it. Is it up yet?
It is. It went up 2 minutes ago. So far on no is 100% there.
It's 1 vote, I'm sure.
It's a little more than 1.
No, it's 1 vote. Guess what? It's not 100% anymore. Mine shows 100% for yes. How about that, Muse?
Well, I mean, that's just your vote, though, probably.
Well, you said it was no. I hadn't seen any votes for no yet.
Now it's 90.9%.
There you go. Yeah. We're making a comeback. I'd say, who do you think you are, Pels fan? Who the hell do you think you are, turning your nose up at an in-season tournament semifinalist banner? Give me that stuff.
As long as it's in the skeleton print, I'm good. I'm in.
I don't care what print you put it in. Just put it up there. And you know what you could use? The pulley system to hang it up there? Michelle. How about that? Actually, I don't know if that's something they would do. Probably so, though. If that pulley system needed to be calibrated, Michelle would calibrate it. Michelle weighing and measurement. Michelle.com. I know what they would do. You know what they would do?
What would they do?
If you're having the celebration to raise the in-season tournament semifinalist banner, and you had all of the Spirit Squad down there, you had Pierre the Pelican.
Yeah.
You had the Pelican dance team.
The King Cake Baby?
No, forget that guy. He sucks.
Okay.
But you had the T-shirt cannons, right?
That's good.
Well, guess what? When you pull that trigger, there's got to be enough force to shoot that cannon to the upper levels. You know what calibrates that gun to make sure the force shoots that thing to the upper level? Precision measurement equipment calibrated by Michelli. Michelli weighing and measurement. Our nation's largest distributor of scales, more than 30 offices across 11 different states. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. Michelli.com. All right, LSU football hit the practice field yesterday for the start of bowl preparation. ReliaQuest Bowl, 15 practices, LSU and Wisconsin. New Year's Day, 11 a.m. Central Time. We'll be counting down to that following the preparation. Have not gotten a bowl practice schedule yet from LSU Sports Information. I know it was an interesting, a really busy week with the Heisman and all the coaching staff being in New York Saturday and then flying home after the ceremony to get ready for this bowl practice. Of note, though, LSU can put out whatever they want in these videos, but when they put out the videos, you kind of see who's preparing. And Malik Neighbors was included in the video. They were indoors. Kyron Lacey was there as well, and they showed that. They also showed Brian Thomas in this video as well. So Malik Neighbors catching a touchdown pass, a deep ball. Shelton Sampson catching a touchdown pass right there. So we'll see if what the intention is of a lot of these veteran players to play. We should start to get some of those answers this week as bowl preparation has begun for LSU for the ReliaQuest Bowl. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll wrap up hour number 1 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates with a new partnership. That's right. My buddy Darren James is now with LPT Realty. Would highly encourage you to go online, especially Darren's Facebook page. Darren posted a video there where he explained why he's made this jump from EXP to LPT Realty. We need to drop that logo, Paulie. I don't want that one up there anymore. LPT Realty. Bottom line, we're going to tell you a lot of great reasons why Darren has made that jump to LPT Realty. But one of the things I want to lead with is to let you know that if you're a realtor or thinking about being a realtor, the collaboration, the resources available to LPT Realty realtors and partners, but also their revenue sharing allows for you, the realtor, to keep more money in your pocket on commissions. Learn more. Contact Darren James at agent225.com.
Think real estate. Think Darren James.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. This morning, we learned the true extent of just how far Louisiana State Police went to shut down a whistleblower who was leaking information about the agency. Carl Cavalier was fired following an interview with the WBRZ investigative unit. And tonight we've learned state police filed search warrants for all of his accounts, photos, and comments. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Freedom far as I can see. The road to run and room to breathe. That's who I am, and I'll always be.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
I need to get to the bottom of this. Chad Guidry sent a text and said it's the West Finals, the in-season Western Conference Finals. Now, Muse, you're disputing this, what they actually call it. If you're just joining, the Lakers are going to hang a banner for winning the in-season tournament, as well they should. It's an event, a tournament sanctioned by the NBA. They won it. They got a trophy. You hang a banner. I'm good with it. My contention is that the Pelicans should hang a Final Four or semifinalist banner. Why not? You've done nothing else in your entire tenure except waste a couple of number one overall picks. Actually, you've wasted one number one overall pick and another still TBD. I think you should hang playoff appearance banners and you should hang in-season tournament semifinalist banners. I just don't know if we call it, what sounds better, in-season tournament semifinalists or in-season tournament Western finalists? That's what I don't know.
I mean, Western finalist probably sounds better, but for what it's worth, I mean, it is denoted here on ESPN's official box score as the NBA in-season tournament semifinals.
All right, so that's what I was looking for. I'm looking in the game recap right here, and it doesn't say that. So you're saying on the box score it says, I know I'm looking for it on the box score, Muse. I don't even see that.
It's right there at the top. NBA in-season tournament semifinals.
Okay, there it is. Okay. Now, is that ESPN or is that NBA's?
Let's go to NBA.com,
there
shall
it
we?
is. Look, Paulie, here it is right here. NBA in-season tournament semifinals. That's it. Now, you got blown out, but
that happened.
TCU got blown out in the Natty. You think they're not hanging a college football playoff runner-up banner?
I don't know. Did they? I honestly, I don't know.
You should. Why wouldn't you?
Maybe they did. I don't know.
All right, it's after further review. We'll get to the bottom of this. Go vote in the poll at 1045 ESPN on Twitter. By the way, speaking of really weird things that professional sports leagues are starting to do, the NFL is the owners are meeting this week in Texas, and they're expected to vote on expanding the international game slate this year. In the last 2 years, they played 5 international games. They've played 3 in London and 2 in Germany. That is expected, however, to jump to 9 international games if the owners approve it. And they will, because they've been just a massive international success, selling out stadiums and expanding the brand of the NFL and all of these franchises. So what we continue to see, by the way, for what it's worth, the NFL, the most likely scenario for next year would be 3 in London, 1 in Germany, and 1 in either Spain or Brazil. That's for next season. If they move to 9, that would be for the 2025 season, when we would see games Mexico City, Paris, Berlin, likely, as well as Spain and Brazil, and London, as we've already seen games there. So, look, I mean, they sold over 4.5 million tickets. I'm sorry, they could have sold 4.5 million tickets in Germany. That was the demand that they had. They sold out in minutes. So they're trying to grow the game globally. They're going to keep doing that. And at its most basic level, what I will continue to say is actions speak louder than words, because it is so clear to these to me that with these owners that what they value is money over safety or anything else. When we continue to see teams struggle making the international trip, the jet lag, they talk about it, that on top of Thursday night football and the short turnaround. Why do we see Thursday night football? Because Amazon was willing to pay a gigantic number for Thursday night football, which lines the owners' pockets, etc. So it is all driven by finances, and that's okay. I'm okay with making financially based decisions because ultimately the players should benefit. Revenue goes up, the salary cap goes up, players make more money. That should all coincide. But don't tell me that you're player safety driven when you continue to do things that spit in the face of player safety. We're all NFL crazed, and we're all going to watch, no matter what day or time of day NFL games come on or where they are played. I just want transparency from ownership. Looks like we're going to get more international games. Hour 2, next.
AFR.
Mold Zero is now Pure Restoration. Remember, get to the website, pure-restoration.com. Pure-restoration.com. Same great company as Mold Zero. Same ownership. Same great patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. Just a new name with an expanded resume of services. That's at Pure Restoration. Remember, they can kill mold and remove odor, but it's not just mold and odor. They also can handle remediation. They can handle demo and build back if you need it. Mold, water intrusion. You have storm damage, maybe a busted pipe that floods your home. It's hail damage that causes water intrusion. Think Pure Restoration. That's pure-restoration.com. Hospitals, universities, schools, gyms, police departments, city halls, restaurants. They had a 200,000 square foot building where they killed the mold and had it reoccupied in 48 hours. It's pure-restoration.com.
Bayou Ford is taking $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ford Expedition. $15,000 off new Ford Expedition. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Chargers will be without quarterback Justin Herbert the rest of the season. He's undergoing season-ending surgery today on his fractured right index finger. Easton Stick takes over as LA's starter. Dolphins starting center Connor Williams torn ACL out the remainder of the year. Receiver Tyreek Hill's day-to-day with an ankle injury. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, in an interview with 610 Sports Radio in Kansas City, expressed regret for and disappointment in his sideline outburst on Sunday when he yelled at the officials after the offsides call wiped out what would have been the go-ahead touchdown late in the Bills' loss. Mahomes likely frustrated with his struggling receivers, but can't call them out publicly, explains ESPN's Jeff Saturday.
They all know they drop the ball. They all know they can't line up sometimes. They all know they're running poor routes. But all that needs to be handled inside the building. It does not need to be a public acknowledgement. Everybody else in the world knows. Captain Obvious, we've all seen it. Don't be that guy to separate your locker room. He's too smart for that.
NBA Suns power forward Kevin Durant, left ankle sprain, will not play against the Warriors tonight. Shooting guard Bradley Beal set to return from a back injury.
Brought to you by the Capital One Venture X card. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel. Plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tumplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Scott Kushner in 30 minutes. The SEC has leaked a few more games on next year's football schedule. We'll get the full release tomorrow evening, but one of the games they leaked was an LSU game, the LSU Ole Miss game. I think I know what the LSU schedule is going to look like next year, so I'll take a stab at it in about 12 minutes from right now, so don't go away. Monday, we talked about a mock draft from our buddy Chris Trapasso over at CBSSports.com, where he had Jaden Daniels number 2 overall. If you missed the conversation, Chris Trapasso is here. You can catch it on the After Further Review LSU YouTube channel or on demand. Just go to your favorite podcast app, search After Further Review. You'll see it there. Please subscribe up, by the way, the podcast and the YouTube channels. We appreciate you. And if you're watching live on YouTube, please smash the like button as well. So that's the highest that I've seen Jaden Daniels mocked yet. 2 to New England. Today, Matt Miller over at ESPN.com put out his mock draft, and he doesn't have Jaden Daniels number 2. He's got Caleb Williams 1 overall. He's got Drake May number 2 to New England. Arizona taking Marvin Harrison Jr. number 3. And then there's Jaden Daniels, number 4 to the New York Giants. This is pretty remarkable. I'm not altogether surprised. I think we've all assumed Jaden Daniels is going to be a first-round pick, especially with Shedeur Sanders, Quinn Ewers making the decision to go back to school, sort of clearing the deck a bit, coupled with the meteoric rise Jaden Daniels has had this year, where we knew the athletic ability as a runner was there. The way Jaden improved his deep ball accuracy as the most accurate deep ball thrower in college football this year. And then on top of that as well, just his ability to read coverages. And that's just a hat tip to Jaden Daniels for all of the work he put in. I thought Brian Kelly's explanation was the best, where he said a year ago, it would have taken, after the game, going back, watching the film, and showing Jaden what a team was doing to confuse him. Now, he's got it at the line. If he's confused, they go to the sideline. By the next offensive possession, he's figured out what they've done. He's made the adjustment. That's just a total credit to him and all the film study he's put in. So all of those things collectively have allowed Jaden Daniels to just skyrocket up draft boards. And we're seeing him now as a consensus top 10 pick. We've gone through some of these where we've seen him going 7 to Tampa, here 4 to the Giants. We talked about Chris Trapasso's mock at CBS where he's got him going 2 to New England. However you look at it, it is pretty clear that all of the draft pundits, based on their opinions, educated opinions from not only their scouting work, but also coupled with talking to front office personnel, have Jaden Daniels penciled in as a top 10 pick. It's just a matter of to what team and where in that top 10 that he falls. The obvious question with a team like New York is they just paid Daniel Jones last offseason. Are you really going to pull the trigger on a quarterback after you just paid Daniel Jones? A lot of people here are going to ask the same question about New Orleans after just paying Derek Carr last offseason. A couple of other things that I think are notable here. Matt Miller has Malik Neighbors coming off the board to the Chicago Bears at number 8 overall. Of course, the Bears already have DJ Moore. They drafted tight end Cole Kmet out of Notre Dame. I mean, you add Malik Neighbors. If they decide to stick with Justin Fields, and by the way, with the number 1 overall pick, he does have the Bears taking Caleb Williams. And if it's Caleb Williams or Justin Fields, however it may go, you add Malik Neighbors alongside DJ Moore, all of a sudden you have a really impressive 1-2 punch there. The other name that will be of great interest here is Brian Thomas Jr., and Matt Miller does have Brian Thomas as a first-round draft pick, number 26 overall, to the Detroit Lions. So we talked about Brian Thomas yesterday, thought he might have a decision to make. If LSU can cobble together enough NIL money to inspire him, to at least consider coming back to school, being what Malik was, and catapulting yourself from a maybe late first, early second round pick to a top 10 pick. Now you're talking about, a $10, $12 million decision potentially. So something to consider, but if we consistently see Brian Thomas mocked here in the first round, it's going to be unlikely that he returns to school. So that's for the LSU guys. The Saints' perspective on this draft is really interesting as well. I'll touch on that in just a second. Quick reminder about the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. If you want to look and feel like your younger self, they can help at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. If it's hormone replacement therapy, you want to lose some weight, semaglutide, a weekly injectable, a once-a-week injectable that could help you lose weight. You can learn more at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. And gift cards are a great option this Christmas season as well. It's the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. So in this Matt Miller mock draft over to ESPN.com, he's got the Saints going wide receiver at number 13, taking Keon Coleman out of Florida State. And I know there's a lot of people here who would love to see the Saints pull the trigger on one of the LSU guys, be it Jaden Daniels or Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas. If they end up going with Keon Coleman, it would be really hard to be upset about that. You were talking about a dynamic 6'4" wide receiver that made a lot of people look silly. I mean, he was a prep basketball star at Opelousas, who clearly has great athleticism and leaping ability, strong hands. I mean, we all saw it firsthand in the game against LSU in the season opener this year. The only thing that might cause Saints fans to be a little disappointed with this pick isn't Keon Coleman. It would be not taking a quarterback. And I just want to be very clear. And I don't know that I could be more clear about this. I would love to see the New Orleans Saints draft a quarterback. I have talked about this plenty. I want the Saints to draft a quarterback. I was the guy when they signed Derek Carr who said, that's a mistake. And so many of you called me a hater. And this isn't me taking a victory lap. It's just being very clear that this isn't with the benefit of hindsight after watching Derek Carr for so far through this point in the season with 4 games to go. Said this when they signed him. You're in year 10. You have a large enough sample size. You know what he is. Here's the problem. If you want the Saints to move on from Derek Carr. Derek Carr has a $52.8 million dead cap number next year. Meaning if he's not on your roster, he costs you $52.8 million. If he is on the roster, he costs you $35.7. So could you really afford, when you're a team in as bad a cap situation as the Saints perpetually are, having to do their cap gymnastics every year, to eat $52.8 million? And the answer is no. So you have to wrap your head around this reality. Before, as we start this conversation, you have got to understand and accept this reality. Derek Carr is going to be on the New Orleans Saints roster in 2024. Period, paragraph. That's it. Full stop. There is no ands or but. No one is trading for Derek Carr. They're not cutting him to eat a $52.8 million cap hit. Derek Carr is going to be on the Saints roster next year. Okay? Period. You've got to accept that. So here, if you're the Saints and you accept that reality, and this is the reality, look, the old saying, you made your bed, you got to sleep in it. The Saints paid him this money. They gave him this contract, okay? Now you got to live with it. Do you punt on Derek Carr, making him essentially the highest paid backup in the NFL, and draft a quarterback? Or do you say, we guaranteed this guy $100 million. Let's give him every possible weapon to succeed. And maybe that means drafting a left tackle. Maybe that means drafting Keon Coleman. Maybe that means drafting Brock Bowers. However it may look. That's the conversation the Saints are going to be having in the front office. It's not, hey, cut Derek Carr. Nobody's trading for Derek Carr. Because not only are you trading for the player, you're trading for the contract. So what team would take on that deal for this guy who had 37 passing yards 5 minutes into the fourth quarter on Sunday against Carolina? Nobody. So accept the reality Derek Carr is back next year. That's where you have to start. And then ask yourself, are the Saints willing to draft a quarterback and make Derek Carr a high-paid clipboard holder? Or do you try to maximize the return on your $100 million investment by drafting him a great wide receiver, a left tackle, whatever it may be? And my guess is the Saints, who in their history have drafted a quarterback in round one time, who just paid Derek Carr $100 million guaranteed and a 4-year, $150 million contract in total, are going to draft an offensive player to help maximize the return on their investment in Derek Carr. That's not what I want them to do. Said it before. Draft a quarterback. Get a quarterback. Give me hope for the future, because it doesn't lie in Derek Carr. Fire Dennis Allen. Hire a new offensive-minded coach. Draft your quarterback. Let Derek Carr hold a clipboard for a year, and then be done with him after 2024. I don't think that's what they're going to do, but that's what I would like to see them do. For whatever it's worth, FPI has the average draft position for the New Orleans Saints at 15 when they run all of their simulations. In this mock, they have the Saints drafting 13th, where they have them Matt Miller has taken Keon Coleman at 13. But depending on how the Saints finish, they're likely to finish somewhere in that 12 to 15 range is likely where they're going to be picking. And the other thing worth keeping an eye on is Denver. Because remember, the Saints have Denver's second-round pick. Early this year, when Denver was 1-5, that was looking like it was going to be one of the first 5 picks in round 2. Right now, Denver's projected to pick 18th in round 1, which means you'd be talking about the 50th overall pick would be the second-round pick that the Saints would get from Denver. It's not quite as appealing as the 35th or 37th overall pick in the draft. So we'll keep an eye on Denver as well. For what it's worth, the remaining schedule that Denver has: at Detroit, New England, the Chargers, at the Raiders. The combined record of their 4 remaining opponents is 22-30. The only team with a winning record is Detroit this weekend. So it is entirely possible that if Denver holds serve and just wins the games they should, they finish 10-7 and could very well be a playoff team, thus lowering that draft pick that the Saints will get in round 2. Watch the Saints. Watch the Broncos as well. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. Last night during the Manning cast, the SEC released 4 more playing dates, games and playing dates for the 2024 SEC football schedule. So it's starting to crystallize what the LSU schedule is going to look like next year. We'll dive into this when we come back. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, we are less than 2 weeks away from Christmas Day. And a lot of people on Christmas Day like to get out and about, maybe go to a restaurant, but what's open? What do you do? Let me recommend the Gregory inside of the Watermark Hotel downtown. The Watermark is Baton Rouge's premier hotel property, part of the Autograph collection with Marriott Bonvoy. I could not recommend highly enough, if you're looking for a place to eat on Christmas Day, to go celebrate with your family, the Gregory has their Christmas buffet with prime rib. It's going to be awesome. The price is $75 for an adult, $28 for kids, and it's open from 11 to 2. Highly, highly, highly encourage reservations. Remember, at the Gregory, they also have complimentary valet. So don't worry about parking downtown when you go eat at the Gregory inside the Watermark Hotel. Again, the Christmas buffet at the Gregory on Christmas Day. Get your reservations today.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokee, $10,000 off new Jeep Grand Cherokee, and all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com.
Just living the farm life. Yeah, we're living the farm life. Little back road swagger, that's how we roll. We plow it and we plant it and we drive it real slow in the farm life. Just living the farm life.
We're waking up in the morning before the sun does.
After further review powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Glad you're rolling with us here. We'll talk some Pels in about 10 minutes with Scott Kushner. What a bounce back after the way they got annihilated by the Lakers in the in-season tournament semifinal. A big win at home last night at the Blender. We'll talk about that with Scott Kushner here in about 10 minutes from right now. Sean Salisbury to kick off hour number 3. So on Wednesday evening, the SEC is going to have their full 2024 football schedule release. So I've talked about schedules for a long time here because I think it's important, not just who you play, but when and where you play them. This will be on the SEC Network and on ESPN at as soon as we go off air on Wednesday. So 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, they'll reveal the full SEC schedule. We know LSU's opponents already. The league has already announced everyone's opponents. What we don't know is the order in which those games will be played. But we have had some leaks, right? The league has leaked some of the games, so we know Texas and Texas A&M are going to play on Thanksgiving weekend. Like, we know the Egg Bowl is going to be Thanksgiving weekend. We know Florida State is going to be Thanksgiving weekend, right? The Iron Bowl. A lot of that stuff is already set. And everybody's non-conference games have already been set as well. So the league on the Manning cast during Monday Night Football announced 4 more games, one of them being an LSU game. So what we've been able to do now is kind of fill in the blanks on everybody's schedule to kind of take a best guess of where things are going to land. I'd like to do that with you here in a second. The 4 games that they announced, Georgia at Texas will be on October 19th. And then Bama at Oklahoma will be November the 23rd. I think that is very significant because one of the things that I think we've talked about it here and I'm predicting is that I think LSU-Oklahoma is going to be Thanksgiving weekend. I think LSU will host the Sooners on Thanksgiving weekend because we know Texas A&M's on Thanksgiving weekend. LSU's not getting Bama on Thanksgiving weekend because that's going to be the Iron Bowl. You could, in theory, go back to LSU, Arkansas, but they've made that the Arkansas-Missouri battle line deal that they do. So I think that stays on Thanksgiving weekend. So the only thing that really makes sense, remember, LSU plays Vanderbilt in South Carolina this year. South Carolina plays Clemson. Vandy plays Tennessee. The only thing that makes sense is Oklahoma. So Oklahoma is likely going to come to Baton Rouge the week after playing Alabama, which should be a boost for LSU, especially when you consider who I think LSU is going to play the week before. So I'll get to that here in just a quick second. The other games that they announced, as I mentioned, one of them was an LSU game, which allows us to make this sort of a speculation. 2 games that will be played on October the 12th, one of them an LSU game. LSU Ole Miss will be on October the 12th, and Florida at Tennessee will also be on October the 12th. So it's 2 more dates that we know. So here's what we know already for the LSU schedule. Muse, can I get some college football music while we talk about this? I don't know if you have anything handy, but it would be great if we did. The Big Ten on CBS theme. I love it. Thanks so much for making that happen.
Dare you?
That's what it is. I'm sorry. It's the college football on CBS theme is what it is. It's you know what it is? It's the Tony the Tiger's Sun Bowl on CBS theme is what that is, Muse. It's the Army-Navy on CBS theme.
It's the SEC on CBS theme now and forever.
It's the fill-in-the-blank awful Mac School on the CBS Sports Network Tuesday night at 7 o'clock theme is what that is.
Northern Illinois.
Perfect.
I was just filling in the blank.
Great.
Yeah.
Love it. Against who?
Akron.
Love it. I was going to go Toledo, but you know what?
Yeah.
You know what?
They were pretty good this year, though. They're like 11-2 or something like that.
It's your party. I just showed up and brought a dip. That's all. All right, so we know LSU is opening up against Southern Cal in Las Vegas on September the 1st. That's a Sunday. 6 days later, they'll play Nichols at home. We know on September 28th, they're going to play South Alabama. And then we know, the 21st, they'll play UCLA. The 28th, they'll play South Alabama, right? So we know that much, right? Okay. You have two. Let's go with what we know. You're going to play Alabama on November the 9th. Remember, you got 2 open dates this year. Because of the way the schedule falls, you get 2 open dates. So you're going to play the open date, or you're going to have the open date that first Saturday in November, which is actually November the 2nd. You'll play Bama November the 9th this year. So we know that. So really the question is what else fills in there? This year, LSU played Florida the week after Bama. I think that stays. So let's go back through it, and this is how I think it's going to go. Based on what we know, and remember, you can also look at everybody else's schedule that we know LSU is going to play because we know, as I mentioned, they're going to play Vandy, they're going to play South Carolina, A&M, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Florida, Bama, Ole Miss. I think I got them all there. I think that was the 8 I got. Okay, so here's how I think it goes. I think they're going to open up against Southern Cal and we know that. Southern Cal, Nichols. Week 3, I think LSU's...
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
I think week 3, LSU is going to be on the road in South Carolina. So I think they're going to go Southern Cal, Nichols, at South Carolina, and then they come home to play UCLA. That is going to be a really brutal way to start the season. Again, 3 of your 4 games against Power 5, 2 of them away from home. Obviously, Vegas, home against Nichols on just 6 days. At South Carolina, home against UCLA. That's how I think the first month plays out. And then you're home against South Alabama. But then you get a breather because you play South Alabama, and then I think you're going to have your other open date right there on October the 5th. So again, the benefit of having 2 open dates. After the open date, judging by what LSU had this past year, I think you keep Ole Miss there in October. Oh, sorry.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
I told them used to do this. I think you keep Ole Miss in October in that spot. It makes sense. Just like with Florida. Florida the week after Bama, I think this makes sense. So you go Ole Miss, and then...
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
I think you go Arkansas there as well. Remember, no Missouri this year. This year, the schedule went Arkansas, Ole Miss, Missouri. I think next year you'll have Ole Miss, Arkansas,
Texas A&M!
And that's where the Aggies are going to fall on the schedule before the second open date. Then you'll have, as we already mentioned, Bama in their regular spot, followed by Florida, which means you got 2 games left. We know Vandy's playing Tennessee in the final weekend, which means in the penultimate weekend it will be
the Vanderbilt Commodores.
Home against Vandy. And that means they'll finish, as I believe they will, against
the Oklahoma Sooners.
Well done, Muse. Nice try. We'll see if I'm right. The only other thing that could change is if Vandy falls somewhere in that mix in October. But I don't think that's going to happen based on the way, if you put together the schedule grid, how it looks like it's going to go. So we'll see how it all plays out. Again, tomorrow night at 6 o'clock Central Time, the SEC will have the full schedule release. But I think of great consequence. Remember, you know you're going to have 2 open dates. They're going to have, my opinion is, I don't, do you agree? I don't know, unless if there's something someone sees that I'm not, I don't know any other way that it could go other than Oklahoma on Thanksgiving weekend.
No, it does. It makes the most sense because, you're not going to play them, in that one of those weeks in October because they're going to play Texas, obviously, right at Texas State Fair. I mean, and then.
But it's not just that. It's also where their non-conference games fill in, the games we already know that they're going to play. And really the question is the only way it could play out for LSU, not even where Texas, it's just looking at the other games. Like South Carolina is going to play Clemson on that week. Ole Miss is going to play Mississippi State. Arkansas is going to play Missouri. A&M is going to play Texas. Bama is going to play Auburn. Vandy's going to play Tennessee. Florida's going to play Florida State. The only options you have are Arkansas and Oklahoma. Arkansas is going to play Missouri. LSU is going to play Oklahoma. Like that's just, and we know that Oklahoma's playing Bama in the penultimate weekend. So I don't see, it's got to be Oklahoma that final weekend. It doesn't make sense any other way.
It's a brutal stretch for them too, by the way. Bama, LSU to end your season.
How about this November for LSU? Yeah, for sure. But how about this? After your open date, you go Bama, at Florida, Vandy, as I mentioned, Oklahoma. You get the breather with Vandy, but I could be wrong. I'm trying to think where this could play out differently. I just don't see how it could play out differently than this. So, in any event.
I know it's Vandy, but at least it's a conference game in that third week in
No
November.
doubt.
Yeah,
No doubt. 100%. That's a great point. I mean, hopefully we get to the 9-game league schedule eventually, which will eliminate the FCS nonsense, and we do have a better game, a better slate that penultimate weekend. Okay. It is after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Oh, I'm late. Scott Kushner. Let's talk some Pels next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local. Hey, if you are thinking about a Christmas gift idea, you can always get a gift card from Clegg's. Got the green thumb on your list. Let them go pick out whatever they want at Clegg's. If you go into the Seagan Lane location right now, it looks like Christmas when you walk in. The poinsettias, all of the yard, the lawn decor with the lit up Santa Claus, the Rudolphs, all the Christmas lights and trees, the pre-lit Christmas trees. They still got that. If you want to decorate indoor or out, Clegg's has got a ton of great decor and, of course, great gift ideas. From gift cards to tuned wind chimes to great bird feeders. If you want to get something for that hard-to-buy for person on your list, they'll have something great at Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Buy local, shop local for more than 60 years. Tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
Life in Louisiana is like a run-on sentence. A poem that doesn't rhyme. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Waking up in the pitch black, coffee in the cup at the door before the dawn cracks. A quick prayer in the barn, Lord, we sure could use some rain. And climb on up in the tractor.
After further review powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Cat, top of the key, guarded by Dyson. Left shoulder down, Euro. Step in, stripped by McCullum and stolen.
Oh, go with it.
Up the floor, Trey. Back to CJ. No look over to Herb, left corner boy. They got back defensively. McCullum left angle.
Oh, shooter!
I thought the game started with our ability to guard, to defend, to get stops. We didn't necessarily get out in the break. They did a great job in getting back in transition and taking plays away, but we got stops, and we were able to score running our offense. So it all started with our defense.
Graf and JD on the call. Willie Green, his Pellies get the win, 121-107 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Our friend Scott Kushner, good enough to join us here. How are you, man?
I'm great, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Are you okay with the Pels hanging a in-season tournament semifinalist banner?
Final Four. The only Final Four team in Pelicans history. They did it.
Right? I'm being serious, though.
You think I'm putting it past them? I don't know. Matt, if you go in that arena, you would never know the team has played another game in the history of the franchise. There's no banners. There's no pictures. There's nothing. So literally anything that would mark the passage of time, I think, would be an improvement inside the arena there.
Shouldn't there be a banner with, like, postseason appearances? Like, you got to start somewhere, right? I mean, you're a Tennessee fan. You understand this.
We're big on participation trophies. We've participated in so many postseasons, Matt.
So good. I got to take my digs where I can. All right. Let's talk about yesterday, though. How I thought your tweet was maybe the most appropriate. How the seismic about face from getting absolutely annihilated in the in-season tournament semifinals by the Lakers to what they did last night to Minnesota.
I mean, it was sometimes you just play a bad game. Sometimes you have a night out in Vegas. And
that's the one.
And sometimes they run together. And sometimes that leads to a 44-point loss. We've all been to Las Vegas, and we have had a job to do the next day, but we didn't care to really do it all that well. And the other guy who showed up seemed to care a lot more about doing it than you do. And that's pretty much, as far as I can tell, that's what happened. Is the Pelicans got punched in the mouth a little bit by the Lakers, and then those 4 a.m. legs hit a little bit, and that was it. And they pretty much just fell apart from there.
Scott's very appropriate tweet at 9:27 p.m. last night was my take: the Pelicans are better when they don't have a night off in Las Vegas. Scott, it really does feel like that. The Lakers were rested, actually motivated, maybe by the 500K or whatever it was, just to go win. And the Pels were motivated by a night out in Vegas, and they got popped. But what a bounce back. How were they able to do it last night?
They did it. Well, first of all, Anthony Edwards didn't play. That helps tremendously. I think that gets left out of the story a little bit. When the team's best player on the other side doesn't play, that does help. But the Timberwolves are a very good team. They were 17-4 entering the game. They're good no matter what. But, yeah, when you play at home, you make some shots, and you get Zion going in the way that Zion goes, they're really, really hard to beat. And they're a good team. They're not a great team, but they're a good team, and they're especially good at home. They beat Dallas at home. They've won some very legitimate games in that building this year, and it's for a long time they did not protect home court, in this franchise. But they've done it this season, and they've been a lot better at home, and I think that's going to be a huge part of the next couple of months here with this team.
Oh, you're right. Pels are 9-4 at home on the season, 13-11 overall. Zion had a season-high 36. What worked so well for him?
He's played like Zion. I mean, he's got a game that is repetitive, like if I were to just tell you, look, there's a guy, all he can do is dribble to his left and score layups at the rim. You'd be like, this sounds like the most boring basketball player in the history of the NBA. And it turns out it's thrilling. It's an absolute thrill ride to watch him because everyone in the arena, including all 5 guys on the floor wearing the other jersey, know exactly what he's going to do, and they cannot stop him. It's incredible when he really gets it going. The problem this season has been that instead of game-to-game dominance, it's kind of come and gone, and he's gotten erased more often at the rim than he had previously. He's missed more at the rim than he has previously, but last game was a vintage Zion performance, and one that I think he was a little annoyed, a little angry by, and I think that probably helped him a little bit.
Pelicans columnist Scott Kushner, also hosts the Polk and Kush podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, please subscribe up. How much of this team's success is recent success is they're healthy?
A lot. It's not just the idea the stars are playing. It's that everyone kind of fits their role a little bit better. And even though that's pushed someone like Jordan Hawkins, who is a good rookie, a really good rookie, out of the rotation, being able to bring Trey Murphy in off the bench, being able to play Najee Marshall as your 8th guy, there's things that it's a really good team when everyone's playing the role that they're supposed to be playing. They've built a very good roster from top to bottom. The problem is whenever you have guys missing and you have to push people up the ladder a little bit, if you need Herb Jones to become a better scorer, you need more from, Jose Alvarado, it just becomes very difficult because they do have ceilings. They're guys who play hard every night and do what they're supposed to do, but they have ceilings. And so as long as you have the roster healthy and everyone has their role together, this team is as good of a 1 to 10 roster, not really counting 1 and 2. It's a very good and deep roster, and everyone fits what they're supposed to be very well. So in that regard, the health is really, really important.
Yeah. He's on Twitter at Scott D. Kushner. Give him a follow. Narratives always generate and start to formulate around a team. This wasn't necessarily a narrative, it was a reality. They were so bad in the third quarter a couple of years ago. Granted, this is only 24 games into the season, but what sort of theses are starting to formulate around this team, good or bad?
I think the biggest difference from this team from the last few years has been that they can actually make three-pointers. And that includes having all your guys out there, and having Zion on the floor has created some gravity. And now Trey Murphy being back has really helped pour gasoline on that fire, that when they're all available, there's a lot of shooting on this team. And for so long, there was no shooting on the team. And not only are you seeing Brandon Ingram kind of continue to expand his scoring, but you're seeing Herb Jones making threes. Everyone's sort of chipping in from there. And for so long, the NBA, I don't know how much NBA you're watching. It's kind of a joke now. It's just a three-point contest most nights. It is a third to half the shots of three-pointers. Whoever makes more of them typically wins the game. And the Pelicans were playing with a hand behind their back for years because they could not sign shooting. But now that they've got these guys coming along, they're healthy, and Trey Murphy is one of the better shooters in the NBA, period. And that is a huge advantage for this team as they move in to what is a fairly soft portion of the schedule right now and a chance to kind of pile up some wins.
And Golden State changed the game. I don't think there's any doubt. So many teams are trying to chase Golden State, to chase shooting, and you're right. It's what it's become. But last thing I want to get into the schedule here. You said with the soft part of the schedule coming up, and it's very obvious. You're at Washington tomorrow night. You have 3 straight road games.
Bad.
Charlotte.
Bad.
At San Antonio.
Bad.
You're home against Memphis. Then you're at Cleveland. Then you got a homestand where you go Houston, Memphis, Utah, the Lakers, Brooklyn. Here through December, the rest of this month, this team could really go on a run. So if you piece it together, where should they be at New Year's?
I mean, they should be, the 6-ish, be like 6 games or so above 500, maybe more. I mean, there's a lot of bad teams in there, and as long as you're playing with the guys you're playing with, those should be wins, even on the road. I mean, they're not an old team, but they're not a young team that should be having like massive waves of inconsistency. They should be able to put away a team like San Antonio that's lost 16 straight or so. I mean, you've got a lot of teams in there who stink and who do not have anywhere near the ability that you do. And so just go win. I mean, we're beyond any of the talking points of this team. They either win or they don't. They either win or they're broken up. And so it's like when you get a chance to chew up on the soft part of the schedule, and that was the problem earlier in the season, was they're playing a very tough portion of the schedule, and they lost some games that maybe, looked bad and things of that nature, but they're not a bad team. They just have to go win these winnable games. And the NBA is pretty simple in that regard. There's like a handful of teams at the bottom that you have to just pound because the teams at the top are, especially on the road, are impossible to beat.
On Twitter at Scott D. Kushner, Pelicans columnist. Make sure you subscribe to the Polk and Kush podcast. By the way, 9 games to go before the new year, as we mentioned. It's plausible to think they could go 7-2, 6-3 in that stretch. They should be looking at 19 or 20 wins when the calendar flips to the new year and you go play L.A. At home. I mean, and if they are doing that, forgive me, L.A. is the last game on New Year's Eve. They'll play Brooklyn at home on January the 2nd. Like that game against L.A., you could be looking at a team 5 or 6 games above 500. That's very plausible.
Pound some overs, Matt. Pound some overs.
Let's go. Unless if we're in the in-season tournament, as Jimmy Ott told us, take the under. They actually played some D in that in-season tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about $500,000 on the line. Guys will go D up. This ain't the All-Star game, Scotty.
We're past that, though. We're back into the regular old flip the burger regular season to pound those overs.
How's that bum Tony Vitello doing?
He's crushing it. He's going to crush it. Or no, y'all are coming to Knoxville this year, right?
I think Tennessee's coming here. Is LSU going to Knoxville? Muse would know. Okay. No. Yeah, LSU's going to Knoxville. Whatever. Like it matters.
Right.
That little matchbox piece of crap stadium y'all play in.
Experience the handsomeness in person.
Good luck ever winning anything again, you jerk.
It's a Paisan time right now. We got Tommy DeVito, Tony Vitello,
Matt Moscona. Which one doesn't belong? I don't know. That's the ball guy. That's the ball guy that does radio. Has hardly a speck of athletic ability. All right, Scott Kushner, thank you. We'll talk soon.
See you, Matt.
Later, bud. That's Scott Kushner. Tulane in Tennessee. I tell you, what a guy. I mean, what a brutal fan existence. And then the New Orleans teams. I mean, not great. Not great. Can't wait to get some Tony Vitello hate rolling again. That'll be really good. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a final break here of hour number 2. Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's. Ooh, it is just about Christmas party time. Everybody's having their work parties, their holiday parties, family holidays. We have Erica's whole family coming over to our house Saturday for a Keller Christmas. You better believe we're going to be over at Rouse's loading up with everything we need. The party trays from the veggie trays, the fruit trays, the sandwich trays. You can mix and match. You want little drumettes and all the stuff. Party trays. They got them all. The whole holiday party platters. You can get them done at Rouse's. You want desserts, cakes, cookie trays, all that stuff? They can do that at Rouse's. And, of course, your spirits. If you want great Louisiana craft beer, you can get it. You want wine? Remember, buy 4, save more at Rouse's. You can mix and match. The more wine you buy, the more you save. It gives you a great opportunity to try some different and really interesting wines. And you can do it for every holiday party here this season at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Get by Rouse's. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find him on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before.
From Hollywood, California on a plane. He said he had rich and famous friends. Yeah, he liked dropping names. I said, well, how'd it do? It's good for you. I dig a lot of those actors. But son, you ain't got a thing on me. See, I got friends with tractors.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Make sure you get that tractor, that combine, that gator. Zero-turn mowers, they got them. It's Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Muso, Tigers in the pros. And don't screw
Tigers
it up
in
today.
the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Living dream of it, Matt. Living dream of it. It's Monday Night Football doubleheader last night. Really good stuff. In the first game, well, I guess they were in the first game. They were both at 7:15. But anyway, Arden Key. How about this?
You've already screwed it up.
I have not screwed it up.
You
Arden
just screwed
Key,
it up?
2 tackles,
Paul,
a
did he
sack.
just screw it up?
Arden Key. Oh, sorry, Paul. I screwed that up.
Screwed that up, too.
Screwed that up. That's the only thing I've screwed
It's
up.
already 2 misses, and we're 30
No,
seconds
one
into
miss.
this
That's
segment.
the first miss. First miss. Arden Key, with the sack last night, is creeping in on his career high, actually. 6.5 sacks back in 2021 when he was a member of the San Francisco 49ers. Currently sits at 5. 4 games left to play. We'll keep you posted there with Arden, see if he can set a new career high. Duke Riley all over the field early and often for the Dolphins last night with 5 stops in that ball game. Cordell Flott, heard his name called a couple times on the broadcast. If you were watching, that would have been the ESPN game. 5 tackles for Flott, 4 stops of those were solo. Busy night in the association. We're going to start with Tari Eason, his first double-double of the season, and it was a big one. 18 points, shot 50% from the floor, by the way. 14 rebounds to complement it, and 2 steals, and the Rockets got another victory. Naz Reid, if you were watching the Pels last night, he turned in a pretty good effort against New Orleans, but not good enough. Could have been good enough if he would have stayed. 17 points for Naz off of 7 of 15 shooting, 6 rebounds to go along with 2 assists to finish off his night.
Should have stayed.
Should have stayed.
That's my line. Don't steal it.
Hey, just, look, sometimes you're not paying attention.
I was paying attention.
Oh, we cover everything.
Stole my line.
Another 20-point night for Cam Thomas. Water's wet, the sky is blue, ho-hum, rinse, repeat. It's kind of what he does. 8 of 21 shooting for him last night, 2 of 6 from behind the arc, and the Nets got skunked. Finally, we'll wrap it up. Doo-Wop Reith, 26 minutes in a starting role last night for Doo-Wop Reith. Yeah, contributed 10 minutes. We were doing so well there. Contributed 10 points, did Doo-Wop Reith. 4 of 11 shooting from the floor. Also added 4 assists and 3 rebounds. That's Tigers in the pros.
Boy, he has a really convoluted definition of doing so well, right, Paulie?
Oh, we were nailing that.
Am I right, Paulie?
That's right.
I mean, just stumbled out the gate, hit every hurdle along the path.
We were fine out the gate.
Face planted right before he got to the tape.
Where did I stumble out of the gate? The gate was fine.
Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. Gentlemen, thrill her with a gift under the tree this Christmas in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where you will always get the Lee Michaels experience. If you're thinking of popping the question, it was in Central Park Saturday morning, and right there at the pond by Central Park South, a couple got engaged. A lot of people did one of these numbers.
As I say, did you cheer?
No, heck no. I'm like, that poor guy, don't do it! Don't do it! I'm kidding! But he should have gone to Lee Michaels. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, Sean Salisbury kicking off hour number 3 when we come back. We got lots of football, lots of quarterback stuff to talk about. We're diving into it with Sean Salisbury next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. That's ShawbillsTire.com. Christmas is just about here. If you're going to be hitting the road this holiday, before you bring your vehicle on the road, make sure you take it to Shawbills. Something else you're probably noticing a lot, of course, with the cold weather, cold contracts, your tires may lose pressure. Get to Shawbills. They'll always help you out with those tires if you need your pressures checked. They can do that. If you need your tires rotated, if you need your balancing, alignment, all that stuff, they can help you at Shawbills. ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com. And, of course, if you're looking to buy new tires, I get it. That ain't a fun thing to do. Nobody wants to spend money on tires. I get it. But Shawbills will sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices, and it comes with the Shawbills, the Charlie's Price Match Guarantee. So, get to ShawbillsTire.com. To shop tires, to schedule service, they do it all at ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. This morning, we learned the true extent of just how far Louisiana State Police went to shut down a whistleblower who was leaking information about the agency. Carl Cavalier was fired following an interview with the WBRZ investigative unit. And tonight, we've learned state police filed search warrants for all of his accounts, photos, and comments. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Thank you, Acadiana, for over 56 years of allowing Corvell Toyota in Opelousas to take care of you and your automotive needs. Enjoy this holiday season with family and friends. From the Corvell Toyota family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert undergoing season-ending surgery on his fractured right index finger today. Easton Stick takes over as LA starter. Dolphins starting center Connor Williams out the remainder of the season with a torn ACL. Receiver Tyreek Hill's day-to-day with an ankle injury. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes expressed disappointment in his actions as well as regret for his outburst on the sidelines Sunday when the offsides call that wiped out what would have been the go-ahead touchdown with under 2 minutes left in the loss to the Bills. And an incensed Mahomes screamed at the officials. ESPN NFL analyst Dominique Foxworth.
I think that part of his reaction, while it may not have been calculated in the moment, he's desperate. And I do think that that permeates the team. So acting like a complete maniac, embarrassing yourself, it is going to help. I promise you, practice on Wednesday is going to be a little bit more intense because the best player that anyone has ever seen play football and is always calm and under control lost his mind.
Dominique Foxworth on Get Up. NBA, Suns power forward Kevin Durant dealing with a left ankle sprain will not play tonight against the Warriors. Meantime, guard Bradley Beal is set to return from a back injury.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tumplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Supposed to be joined by Sean Salisbury right now. Having a little trouble linking up. Do you have him, Paulie, yet? Okay, we do have Sean linking up right now. Let me get to this. A little bit of breaking news while we connect with Sean. Football Scoop had it first. Bruce Feldman reporting it as well. Texas A&M expected to hire former LSU strength coach Tommy Moffitt. Big addition for Mike Elko, he writes. Of course, Moffitt played a key role in the Tigers winning 3 national titles. Before that, helped Butch Davis get Miami turned around. So, looks like Tommy Moffitt getting back into the game there. Joining Mike Elko's staff at Texas A&M. We'll reach out to Coach ASAP and see if we can get that confirmed from him, and we'll see if we can get Coach Moffitt on the show. We'll look forward to that. Always look forward to this. Every Tuesday, we're joined by our buddy Sean Salsbury to talk all things football. Of course, the college football playoff set, as we know that. The Heisman has been handed out to Jaden Daniels, and the Saints continue to struggle, but they did manage to win. Sean, we appreciate you, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, buddy. How are you?
Doing awesome. Hey, It's so conflicting right now with the Saints, and I kind of want to go big picture instead of nuanced, because the conversation we're having right now is, all right, Derek Carr, 5 minutes into the fourth quarter on Sunday, had 37 passing yards. I'm not sure, Sean, it could get any worse for this team. They had 207 yards of total offense, but they won. His cap number next year his dead cap number is $52 million. So you're going to have Derek Carr on the roster next year. But what do? Do you commit resources to try to lift him up, or do you go into this draft thinking we got to go draft our franchise? What would you do?
Yeah, now, Matty, when I watch them play, and I've probably seen 85% of their games this year, and I guess the frustration for me is, the numbers that get put up. I'm trying to figure out, is it the quarterback? I mean, we got to compartmentalize with Drew Brees, right? I mean, if people want to start saying, well, he's not Drew Brees, no, he's not, and we got to go into it thinking that. Then you look around the league and say, okay, if you're going to go, first off, to back up a second, if you're going to go for the future, please finally go draft a quarterback in the first round and go that way, okay, and build him in-house and get it going. And I'm conflicted on this part too, because I know Carr's a good player, but I've said on this show plenty of times, and I don't want to belabor it, is I don't believe with the current setup or with you're winning a Super Bowl. Now, what are your standards? Well, I'd like to think it's a Super Bowl for the Saints and what Brees and that group set, and offensively and defensively. I just don't see how, under the current structure of the way that they attack. Listen, if you can win games throwing for 200 yards, throwing 40 times a week, and completing 65 to 68%, and play that way, play small ball in essence, which they had to do a little bit the last year and a half or so with Drew, then go for it. Do I think the way they approach offense and the way that they're set up right now that they can get to February? I don't. I think they've got good enough players too. So listen, no matter who you go get next year on the free agent market, he ain't going to be, who's going to be available? I haven't even looked, Matty. I usually wait till the end of the season as far as free agent quarterbacks. Now, are you interested in Justin Fields if, in fact, the Chicago Bears decide that they're not going to trade the first pick for 6 picks, 3 first-rounders and all that, and stick with Justin Fields if they move on? And I imagine they may have a new coaching staff and that. So are you interested in a guy like that who's young, got enormous potential, but needs better players around him because he's not going to carry it yet? And you better brace for some stuff, because he's not going to be nearly as established a passer as Brees here, Carr here. Fields has got a lot to learn, but he's explosive talent. So you're going to build it that way. I think you need, when I say homegrown, I think you need to draft the guy, build him. Let's go 3 or 4 years with the same group and build it. I'm not sure the whole structure involved. I've told you, I don't think this coaching staff, now if they win a division and make the playoffs and get beat in the first round of the playoffs, is that enough to save a job? I wouldn't imagine. You hear more about that there than I do. I just think if you're going forward, I think you're going to need a whole house cleaning, but Carr is going to be there. So for me, Matty, if you and I are in the front office and the coaching staff, and I'm saying, okay, here's where we're headed. Where you're headed is you're going to buy at least another year with Derek Carr, I would think. So you go get good players, and if you can find a way to get a young, top flight quarterback somewhere, whoever that is, whether you work a trade in a draft, whether you work a trade with a younger player now, or whether you find somebody in this draft, I think you have to go do that. I just do. I've been waiting for a while for that to happen, where it's the guy where like the Strouds or that guy. So I don't know where he's coming from, depending on where they pick, and possible draft purgatory as well. So I don't think you're winning a Super Bowl under the current regime. I just don't.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm not the one signing paychecks. I think you can get to a certain point, but I think you're going to hit a ceiling. And I've seen this movie. We're not 3 years into an NFL career with just a quarterback, but I also caution people to think it's just the quarterback. It's never just the quarterback, whether it's play calling, rhythm, buy-in. It just, we've seen the movie in a lot of different places on this team, at different places and here. And I think if the New Orleans Saints are going to go forward at some point to get where they want to go, which is not just January, it's deeper than that, is find themselves a guy who, when he walks in the building, the game has changed. The game ain't changed when you walk in building now. It's the Dow Jones. It's up and down. You're not sure week to week what you're going to get. I need to know about 12 or 13 weeks a year what I'm going to get 14 weeks a year with that guy at quarterback, not just a guy. But it's not fair to Derek Carr for us to just say it's his fault. There's a lot of things that go into this, but I need more aggressiveness and more. I see it in Houston. They finally got Stroud, and they attack. They are in your kitchen, punching you in the face. And if I'm going down, at least let me go down and be smart aggressive, not careless aggressive. So I just think there's another level to this team. They've got talent. There's still some things missing. And a February quarterback and a February offensive attack is not part of this team right now. And I think you and I both, I know that that's the cold hard facts, but it just is.
No, I'm in complete agreement. But the reality, and I agree, the reality is they don't have enough draft capital,
firepower,
or assets to be able to go trade for any type of quarterback. So your options really are, you got to go draft one. What do you think about the dynamic, Sean? Because again, Derek Carr is going to be a New Orleans Saint next year. They're not going to eat a $52.8 million cap hit, dead cap hit. They're just not going to. So what do you feel about the dynamic like what happened in Green Bay with Rodgers and Love and Favre and Rodgers, or in Kansas City when it was Smith and Mahomes, where you draft a guy and he's going to sit for a year behind your veteran guy?
I'm okay with it, especially if you think in those two circumstances, Matty, you got your guy, right? Did you not get, in Kansas City?
Yep.
You got him, at least they think that in Green Bay with Love. I have no problem with it. Listen, one thing people have to recognize that maybe we all do, I'm not in the feel-good business, man. I've said this before. If I'm a front office, I'm talking about, I want all my players to get buy-in, but when it gets right down to it, when I drafted Jordan Love, and I'm not worried about Aaron Rodgers' personality being pissed about it. He still played and won MVPs. I'm not worried about Jordan Love's sensitive. I'm not saying he is a first-round pick that may be a little – it's not like you don't get to get in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
After your rookie year. You don't get to say, I think I'm going to just up and leave the Green Bay Packers or the Kansas City Chiefs. Matter of fact, it might be the greatest thing because we do a horrible job at times of rushing quarterbacks into it and expecting them to be doing what Stroud's doing. Stroud's the outlier. That's not the norm. What Bryce Young's doing is the norm for a rookie, and what you see Will Levis do, even though he wasn't a first-round pick. So, matter of fact, in this case, do you have a choice? You really don't have one, Matty. You don't. You can't get rid of Carr money-wise. You strapped yourself there. The guy's a good enough player to get you to January with the roster. You're going to have to make a few roster decisions to hopefully upgrade it a little bit. But also, we know their defense can play, depending on what you want to do with the coaching staff. But it's okay for Jordan Love to wait. He waited. Yeah. He's a good player. He's still got a ways to go. But now we're seeing the guy can play some football. At least you're hoping he's a franchise guy. Mahomes, well, that obviously goes without saying. We know he is and is a dominant player. So you don't have a choice right now. You're talking about assets and be able to go get somebody where you're picking, where you are, where the money is. So that is the option you have to take. Carr's going to start until he gives the job away, and then you've got to develop that guy that you say he's not just hanging around till the next draft and the next draft. We've got a guy in waiting that can go do it. And at some point, if Carr, you'll have the most expensive backup in the world if he doesn't perform. But he'll perform well enough. Derek Carr always performs well enough to stick around and to get you to a point where he teases you, and then yes, and then it'll have a Pro Bowl type season, and then it's like, doggone it, where's my next Patrick Mahomes or C.J. Stroud? So you really – our decision really not going to matter because they really don't have much leeway to do anything but that. So I subscribe to it. I'm not worried about the rookie high pick draft pick being a distraction in my locker room because he doesn't get to play the first year. Oh, well, deal with it, man. And it's just the way it is. So once you get out of the emotional feel-good business, you work him, and when it's his turn to play, he will. And if the starting quarterback can't hold the job, then I got an apple and a roadmap and the first bus out of town. Carr's just locked in because, in truth, they went and got a guy who costs a lot of money. Probably the money and the performance didn't mix. Yeah. But he'll still give you good football. You're just not going to get consistent, great football every single week. What you said is exactly what they have to do. Hold on to him because you got no choice, and go find a guy that by sitting and watching will learn, and when he hits the ground, he's hitting it running.
So we've looked ahead to the future. We'll come back. I want to look at the now because the NFC South is a jumbled mess, and this team could very well be a playoff team. I'll get Sean's take on that when we get back. Sean Salisbury's with us. He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Few better to talk NFL and all things football than Sean Salisbury. Will continue next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Glow Resources, GLO, glowresources.com. You know, most companies think of temp staffing as a last resort. At Glow Resources, they want you to think of Glow as a first resort and a long-term effectiveness option. Glow Resources complete employer solutions. At Glow, they work for you, the business owner. As a matter of fact, this might sound a bit crass, but they don't want tons of calls from employees trying to get on their roster. They'll find you, the employee, with their vast net and ability to scout and recruit great employees to fit jobs. And remember, they certainly have plenty of skilled blue-collar workers, but they have a great white-collar division as well. Tax season's coming up. If you need accounting personnel, Glow Resources can help. C-level management, project managers, call centers, engineers, they do it all. And they do it better than anyone. It's Glow Resources. glowresources.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
It's just country boys and girls getting down on the farm.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Always joined by Sean Salisbury on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. You catch him weekdays there. Sean Salisbury Show on Sports Talk 790 in Houston. He's everywhere, though, and has been for basically all of my adult life. Love talking ball with Sean. We have the great pleasure to do that every Tuesday. Sean, let me come back to the NFC South convo in just a second. I did want to get your thought. We're seeing a lot of mock drafts pop up now. I've seen Jaden Daniels as high as 2 to the Patriots, 4 to the Giants. I think everyone kind of consensus has him as a first-round pick, but it's starting to look like he's going to be a lock to be a top 10 pick. When you look at the projectability of Jaden, do you see that? Do you see top 10 lock with Jaden right now?
I'm not sure about lock. I mean, for me, listen, I think we're past the point, Matt. I know people get caught up. What's he weigh right now, Matty? I mean, after the season, $180, $175.
No. He's over 200 pounds.
Is he over 200 pounds?
Sure.
Okay, so you just in a uniform, you know what I'm saying? Like you look at certain guys. So he's a 200 pounder. So the size isn't going to be an issue. I don't know what they questions that you had last year going in. You don't have coming out. You just don't. You go into last year, deep ball. How efficient is he pushing the ball down the field? You know, he's got Brian Kelly. It is LSU. They're good players. Where is he going to be? Has he elevated to the point where he can carry a team? And he did that. I don't know what you want. You got accurate. You got pocket presence and poise. You had phenomenal feet and not bailing. When you have great feet, Matty, I watch it close. Guys we always hear, oh, he's got great feet. What do they initially do? See the first guy and then start to use their legs as their second, third, and fourth receiver. And they don't allow the play to happen. You got to get through progressions and then use your legs as a check down. The deep ball, we've talked about the layering of the throw, the accuracy on intermediate and balls that are pushed down the field, the underneath stuff, which I call just make the simple play, hit me singles. And he's done it all. And you know this because we not only with the Heisman and watching him all year long in the last 2 years, the improvement. I always am asking if I'm in a front office, what did the guy do to elevate from last year? Has he peaked or is there something still left in his game? There's something still left in his game because he's still got a lot of football to see. He did it against as good a competition as there is in the country. He did it every single week. He did it knowing he had to do it, and he elevated. To me, when I saw the mock drafts that had him, the last one I saw was him at 4. I thought, to me right now, and when the season ended, a couple weeks ago, what was going on, I said, for what I saw this year, Caleb Williams is going to be the first pick. Then the Drake May, Jaden Daniels comes into play. I would take him over Penix and Bo Nix today. Now, Matty, it's the strangest damn thing in the world between the end of the season and the draft, or end of the season and any Senior Bowl. Guys are rising and falling. I'm saying, well, they haven't done anything. Even if they're like, what did they do that would get them to rise and fall? What, because they look good in a pair of shorts and a T-shirt? I want the guy that on tape always shows up, whether it's a linebacker or a wide receiver. They stick out. You guys at LSU are used to seeing that. Jamar Chase, Jefferson, guys that stick out, Devin White, that stick out on either side of the ball. Jaden Daniels sticks out. He's usually the best player on the field every week. To me, when I'm evaluating him, I do. Now, can you make all the throws? Yes. Can you beat me from the pocket when that's not going well? Can you beat me when you extend? Yes. Are you accurate? Does the ball come out on time? So, and listen, I'm not crowning him a Hall of Famer yet, but I can just tell you this from projections and what I've seen. There's still an elevation to his game because he's going to get stronger. One thing I would teach him is you don't need to take all these hits when you're out in the open field. He's gotten better about it. But he is a playmaker that around him, people look around and good things are going to happen. There's no doubt in my mind he's a top 10. Now, somebody may say they have him at 15. They may have Nix higher. He's a little older. Or they like Penix because he feels a little more experienced with all the transfers, and he is. But to me, he is one is clear to me, and that is Caleb Williams.
Okay.
Then it comes, what do you want? Do you want this with Drake May or do you want this with Jaden Daniels? To me, Jaden Daniels, this isn't just a guy who won the Heisman, won't be a good NFL player. I think the guy projects to a top 10 pick. And I have no issue within the top 5 somebody taking him if you want to change your program around or your team. I think he's the guy who elevates the building, and I saw it. Last year we saw some of it. There was stuff I needed to see to say that's top 10 player. There wasn't anything this year I saw that would have me going the other way saying, I can't say that about everybody. This guy's a baller, and this guy's an elevated game this year, and he's well coached. You continue to coach him up at the next level, and all he did was play. And would have won more games if he had a little help on defense. Yeah. I think Jaden Daniels is a top 10 pick, and I have zero issue with putting him in a top 5.
Hey, do you remember when either at SC or over the course of a 10-year pro career, when things, as they say, slowed down? Because it looked like that's what happened for Jaden this year because of the work he put in, You sort of famously go into the building at 5 a.m. looking at film. Brian Kelly's talked about this. Like, do you remember when that happened? That people always talk about when the game slowed down.
Yeah, Matt, I don't know if it was one specific moment or year. I'm sitting here thinking, I know the feeling. The feeling was when you're like, there are times you'll go in there, like when you're a rookie in your new first system, like I'll never forget, you're like, oh my gosh, you're walking to the line of scrimmage. My rookie year, Chuck Knox was the head coach, and Chuck's a defensive guy who thinks defensively, old school. Well, everything you do as a quarterback for me growing up was even to the right, odd to the left. That's the way we did it, right? Well, we got there as quarterback. We had 6 quarterbacks. I was the 6th quarterback signing up, making that team that year and lasting 10 years. But I can remember that he went, and I studied and I was coached by Norv Turner in college, so I had a pretty good. I like to think a high football IQ and good mechanics. So I feel like I was a quick study, but even then, but Chuck we were odd to the right and even to the left. Now, when you go in your first mini camp and you got running back Kurt Warner, Steve Large, and all these veterans, you go up with the veterans and you're getting in that huddle. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm just worried about not going the wrong way and running into the guy. And so at that point in time, it's like a water polo player underneath. Your legs are going 1,000,000 miles an hour, and you're trying to show everybody that you're calm. All right. But when that does kick in, you know it, because when you're sitting in the meeting room or you're having a conversation with a coach, and I can remember when it kicked in for me too, when Denny Green was our coach, and I was in probably halfway through my career. We were in Minnesota, and we went to the sidelines, and Denny started talking, and I said, no, let's do this. Myself and Brian Billick, because it hit me. I'll never forget the moment on the sidelines. Like I said, that did stick out, but it wasn't one specific where it was 100%, but I can remember that point, and he looked at Brian and said, yeah, I like what he's talking about. And then the next series, when the defense was on the field, he came up to me and he said, when you're done playing your career, I need you to coach with me. And that's exactly how he said it. And so that moment at him, and it had nothing to do with the execution of the play. It had everything to do with what I saw and the vision. And so when coaches are taking what you saw and talking to the starter or talking to your team the next day, and you have a pretty good idea that they feel you have. And for me, it was pre-snap, getting an idea after studying all that tape and getting to the building early in the morning and studying it when it's still you're all over the place. So it became more about what we're trying to do instead of, oh, what if this guy comes? All the what ifs. I started to get answers in my mind. Oh, if they bring this guy's got to cover up, and there's where the weakness is. There's where the numbers are. So it was probably midway through, but you're still you're always learning if you're wise, because the game's ever changing. But for me, when I knew that you couldn't beat me mentally, and that was probably year 4 or 5 in my career, that if you beat me, it was going to be because somebody made a better play than I did. You weren't going to be able to show me something that I either hadn't seen or prepared for it. If you did, I was going to throw the ball out of bounds, or hopefully not throw it to the wrong guy, which I still did at times. But it's when the physical, I always say this, the mental makes you a better physical player. I'm not sure if you're a great physical player, you're automatically more mental. I always say if you know more mentally, physically, you're going to become better. You can be a great physical presence, but eventually, if you don't follow it, study it, are passionate about it, love it, and dig deep into the mental preparation. And then I spent time talking to defensive coordinators about how they'd try to stop me or our offense, which helped me to get an idea what they were thinking playing us on our own team. So for me, it was when I knew the mental part. The physical was the easy part. It was the mental part of making sure I didn't get lost, because when you're not mentally right, you become desperate. And when I knew I wasn't desperate anymore, I knew that physically, that regardless of what happened in the game, that mentally that you weren't going to beat me. And I was pretty fortunate that way in my career.
He is Sean Salsbury. Great perspective as always, man. I love hearing the stories. Hey, in these last couple of minutes, when you look at the NFC South, Tampa, Atlanta, New Orleans, they're all sitting there, one game under 500, tied. I mean, and when you look at their remaining schedule, it's all what and what. It really is like, which is the prettiest ugly girl? I mean, who do you like in this division if you had to call it with 4 games to go?
Well, I usually, let's say all things were equal and the talent around, and I know that's hyperbolic, but the best roster to me, I'm looking at, is the New Orleans Saints. I personally, if the New Orleans Saints don't make the playoffs, it's on them. I know that Tampa's Baker Mayfield's added energy. They run around on defense. They've got Mike Evans. They've got good players. I know Atlanta with Bijan. And I'll tell you, when you look 3 years down the road, if the quarterback ever catches up to Pitts and London and Bijan Robinson, they're going to be a good team. That they are. But for me, I look at who's got, in my mind, the best quarterback in the division. If all things are equal. All things are equal. If they are, I'm going right now at 6 and 7. 3 of those teams are in the same spot. I'm going with the guy that I think is going to make the most. But Baker's got all that energy. We know that Ritter and the Atlanta Falcons have been up and down offensively. But I think when it comes down, if I got to throw the ball, who do I trust of the 3 the most, accurate-wise, who's been in it longer? I would take the Saints. Now, I still think overall they've got more playmakers. I think they've got a defense that can shut you down as both other teams in Tampa. Obviously, we know against the run they're stout. But to me, I don't think the Saints 6 and 7, they should not be in this position. They shouldn't, but they are. So now how do you get out of it? To me, they're the best team in the division. I picked them to win at the beginning. I'm going to stick with them, but self-inflicted mistakes and all those things that, dumb stuff will cost them the division, because I still think they're the best roster. And when in doubt, of the quarterbacks in the division, I said, I got to win one game with these rosters. Who would you take? And if I'm not taking the Saints, then I haven't watched enough football. Tampa's good. Atlanta's good. The Saints are better. I don't think any of these teams are long for January. Let me just put it to you that way.
Sure. Man, what an interesting December this is
crazy
going to be here in these parts.
But Matty, getting in, and I sincerely, unlike the NC2A tournament, you're the 15 seed. You're probably not long for that either.
Right.
But when there's only 7 teams in your conference, you never know what one injury, one bad quarter, one thing, and it doesn't always have to be the Saints having the bad quarter. So they've got enough players to go into the wild card round and win.
Yeah,
but I don't know if they've got enough. That's exactly right. So, but I don't think there's a ring going to be fitted on their finger. But for them, they should win this division. I think they're the best team. But I got to have a little more explosiveness and push on the offensive vertical passing game, unlike last week. We need that needs to be elevated, and just protect the ball. There's no reason why this defense won't keep you in every game.
He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Make sure you download the Pro Sports Fans app as well. Check out the work Sean's doing over there. You're the best, man. We appreciate a couple of minutes every Tuesday. Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you next week, Matty. Thank you.
Oh, man, be well. That is Sean Salisbury. This is After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. They are simply the best. Love telling you about Brandon Holly and Relief Windows every single day, because you're talking about a company that does right by people. It's not just about installing windows. I mean, they do that. They measure twice and install once. Every window is custom made to fit the specifications of your home. If you are in a neighborhood where the HOA requires wood windows, well, Relief Windows has wood window products that come with a lifetime warranty. You're going to get better quality products. You're going to get exceptional customer service every single time at Relief Windows. Window, door, siding, but they're also experience, quality, and service. It's Relief Windows. I can't fathom why you would even consider calling anyone else if you need windows, door, siding, or shutters. They're the best, and they never take $1 from you until they're done and you're thrilled. Like, they will not take a deposit. Who does that? Relief Windows. They're the best. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, it's After Further Review. Appreciate Sean. By the way, if you're looking at remaining schedules, so in the South, the Saints have the Giants, the Bucks, the Rams, and the Falcons. They're the only team among the 3 that are tied that doesn't play a team currently in the playoff mix. Tampa has to play Jacksonville. Atlanta has to play the Colts. So Atlanta has the Colts, Panthers, Bears, Saints. Tampa has Jacksonville, Carolina, Packers, Saints. And the Saints have, as we mentioned, Giants, Tampa, Rams, and the Falcons. So, see how it plays out. It is going to be a really interesting 4-game stretch. It's just that nobody is good enough to think you're going to be consistent over 4 games to win enough to win it. It just feels like everyone's going to it feels like each of those 3 teams is going to have the opportunity to control their destiny, and each of them is going to blow that opportunity. Be an interesting month, to put it mildly. Okay, let me knock out a break. We'll come back. I'll update you on our Derek Carr Ocho Cinco wager that we have with Ocho coming up after this break. Also, if you missed it just a bit ago, report from Football Scoop, Tommy Moffitt is headed to College Station to be their strength and conditioning coordinator, and the Tigers are trying to flip a current A&M commit. We'll tell you the latest there. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Been telling you all throughout this Christmas season, our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air are doing an awesome thing. They're adopting 3 families in need to make their Christmas a little brighter. Another great way that River City's 1 Hour Air is giving back to our community, a community that they have given so much to and to whom have given them so much since they've been in business now for more than 40 years. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. You see the big yellow vans and trucks all over town, and I tell you every single day, if you got issues with your heater, think you might, noises, smells, different things like that, just not heating properly during these cold weather months, call River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001. Whether they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. They value your time and money. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001.
Bayou Ford is taking $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ford Expedition. $15,000 off new Ford Expedition. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
What a terrible song. It does mention John Deere, though.
It's catchy. Come on.
No, it's not. It's awful. I mean, what an atrocious pile of garbage that song is. Who sings that?
This is Keith Urban, the Australian country guy who married Nicole Kidman.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good guitar, really good guitarist, Keith Urban. Terrible song, though. But it does mention John Deere, of course. Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. You ever heard a country song about a tractor other than a Deere Muse? I haven't.
I haven't.
You ever see a tractor other than that green John Deere?
Nah.
Shouldn't. They're the best. There's a reason. Service after the sale, the longevity, the resale market. It's awesome. Shout out to all of our farmers that are going through a harvest right now. Appreciate everything that y'all do. I know so many of you listen while you're up in the tractor, the combine. Got us all day long. We appreciate you for all that you do. Appreciate Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Thank you. Shared this earlier just a bit ago. Texas A&M, according to Football Scoop, is planning to hire Tommy Moffitt. Bruce Feldman has confirmed that report as well. Looks like Coach Moffitt, after being out of ball for a couple of years, is back in the game now in the SEC at Texas A&M. It's interesting. When Brian Kelly was hired and so much of the staff wasn't retained, I know Tommy Moffitt didn't want to. He's been open about this. I'm not relaying anything he hasn't said. He wanted to stay at LSU. He didn't want to retire. He wanted to coach. Of course, we've talked a lot. You've heard Coach Moffitt here talk about the Moffitt Method, a program that he started that's allowing him to teach different coaches and athletes in different sports all over the country through a lot of the virtual methods. It's very entrepreneurial and really cool what he's done. Certainly, he has the opportunity. He's still a young man. Say young man, but you know what I mean. He's relative to coaching, he's still young. He's got a lot of years left in him if he wants to coach, and clearly he does. And I think another piece of this as well is that Coach Moffitt has 3 sons, and the youngest of his sons, Brady, is now finished with high school. And I think the fact that all of his sons are now, with Clay, Aaron, and Brady are done with Brady being the youngest, just graduated high school, is now in college. It's probably a good time if he wanted to pack up, leave, and pursue coaching somewhere else. So here's an opportunity to do it. I'm sure it's tough after being in Baton Rouge for 25 years now. He came back to Louisiana when Nick Saban was hired in 99, so nearly a quarter century of being here and raising your family here. Leaving certainly is not going to be easy. But he's an amazing coach. I mean, you talk to everybody that ever played at LSU, they revere Tommy Moffitt. There's 2 guys on this station in the morning that tell you he's their favorite coach they ever had with Hester and with T-Bob. And you want to talk about something that could actually be impactful at Texas A&M? Tommy Moffitt could do that. It's no coincidence that everywhere he's gone, success has followed. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's a significant hire for Mike Elko, bringing Tommy Moffitt there at a College Station. So, looks like Tommy Moffitt's back in coaching in the SEC at Texas A&M. Meanwhile, LSU is still trying to pluck away a current A&M commit. I'll get to that here in a quick second. Remind you about South Point Volkswagen. And I was reminded about this today, really because I stopped short on Airline Highway, nearly got rear-ended today, and I thought about it was almost 2 years to the day that I was on the Mississippi River Bridge and a full-size pickup truck just didn't slow and slammed into the back of me. And I was driving my Volkswagen Atlas at the time. And if you would have seen that, I'll tell you what, it was a Chevy, what's there, Silverado, the big Chevy. The front of that truck was compressed all the way almost to the windshield. And the back of my vehicle was dented, but repairable. And that was a moment where it was crystal clear to me why Volkswagens are chosen by so many for their safety features. I just thought about that, and I was like, what if I had my son in my car with me right now? How terrifying that would be to be on the bridge and to be just full speed slammed, rear-ended by a full-size pickup truck. And my Atlas won the day. Why do parents put their children, their young drivers in Volkswagens? Why do you put your wife, your spouse, in a Volkswagen? That's why. You get all the style, the feel, the performance, the luxury, and you get all the great safety features. You want the peace of mind that goes along with that? South Point Volkswagen. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? So while Tommy Moffitt is headed to College Station, LSU reportedly is headed to College Station. LSU is trying to pluck another Louisianian out of College Station, at least prevent him from going there. Dominic McKinley, as we know, one of the five-star defensive linemen from Acadiana who has been committed to Texas A&M. LSU continues to push there. And here's how the week is going to go for Dominic McKinley. He's got a whole bunch of in-home visits scheduled during this recruiting period. The A&M defensive line coach Elijah Robinson, who recruited Dominic McKinley there to College Station, of course, was the interim head coach. He's now at Syracuse. He's the DC at Syracuse. So they went in home on Monday. Today, Texas A&M and Mike Elko are in home with Dominic McKinley there in Lafayette, of course, who preps at Acadiana. They just finished up their season, lost in the state championship game to Catholic High School of Baton Rouge. And then tomorrow, Wednesday, it'll be LSU. Thursday, Oklahoma. Friday, Texas will be in home. I don't want to oversell the importance of a player like Dominic McKinley, but this is a five-star interior defensive lineman, the number one player in the state, according to On3, 6'5", 280. And when you look at this LSU recruiting class, you've got one interior defensive tackle committed right now. That's three-star Demarion Johnson out of New Iberia. That's it. All the other defensive linemen you have committed are edge players. You do have Sean Washington committed out of the portal, but I'm talking about high school players. So you need bodies on the defensive line. Now, the need gets mitigated a bit if Smith, Wingo, Guillory all make the decision to return. Because now you have those three guys, plus Fitzgerald West, Ty G. Hill, some of those younger guys that are still developing, and then you can bring in Sean Washington and whoever else may fit in this class. But you do need numbers, you do need depth, and this is a five-star and the number one player in your state. You'd love to keep him away from a team in your conference in Texas A&M. So Tigers are going to make a big push here with Dominic McKinley. That A&M roster has fallen apart, as we all know, after Jimbo Fisher's firing. What might this mean for Dominic McKinley? Can the Tigers make hay? Remember, they did not get an official visit from Dominic McKinley during the season. Can they make him maybe even put off his decision until February, the February signing date? Perhaps. He's scheduled to sign a week from tomorrow on December the 20th here with the early signing period started. Can LSU make up ground there? We'll find out. They'll have a push in home on Wednesday with Dominic McKinley. It's after further review. We'll knock out our final break of the show. When we come back, Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks. How about a 2-0 night for the Otter? He gave us the Giants last night, plus the 5.5. He gave us the Giants. Hang on, bro. Being aggressive with them dings, dog. Gave us the Giants last night, plus the 5.5. How about an outright winner? Also gave us the over with the Dolphins and the Titans. It looked like it was in trouble, right, Muse? It looked like it was in trouble with under 3 minutes to play.
Halftime looked really bleak.
Titans get themselves a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and right, bada bing, bada bang, bada boom, right down the field score again, just like that. We got to cover, my friend. Otter cannot be stopped. What else does he have? We'll find out next with Otter Lock. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Hey, remember, last Friday, there was awful weather that came through the southern part of the state. Saw a lot of the pictures of damaged roofs, holes in roofs, people who had maybe shingles blown off. If that's you, let HUDCO come do a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Maybe you're having trouble with your insurance adjuster, your insurance company, or you're not sure the steps to take. HUDCO can handle everything. HUDCO hires people whose sole responsibility is to work with your insurance company, with your adjuster, to get your claim approved so all you pay is your deductible and you get a brand new roof. It's HUDCO Roofing and HUDCOroofing.com. Remember, commercial, flat or metal roofs, HUDCO has that silicone coating product, 20-year warranty, roughly half the cost of a roof replacement. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokee. $10,000 off new Jeep Grand Cherokee. And all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like Hudco, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. Remember, if you miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time, golf.breck.org. One thing left to do to find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ott Father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
What's up, Matthew?
Well, I'm doing awesome here, man. Another 2-0 night for the Otter. You've just turned this show into an ATM. So let's just keep putting in that card and you keep spitting out dollar bills.
This will test your creativity today.
Okay, let's go.
I did get a call unsolicited from our favorite friend on the ice out in the desert.
Hey, hit me with it.
He gave me the home team. He said he's all over the Knights tonight. It's a heavy price, about $1.95 on a money line. What I would suggest is to split it up. Bet half on the money line and bet half on the puck line, -1.5.
All right, money line and puck line, half bets. Okay, what else are we looking at?
That's the only thing, man. It's very light in the NBA tonight. I was trying to see if the Lakers might bounce after their, they put a little extra emphasis on winning that in-season tournament. But it's life in the world of betting the NBA. Anthony Davis, game-time decision. LeBron James, game-time decision. We don't know. Dallas is in the back end of the back of back-to-back. Kyrie's out, Luka's in, but just trying to monitor. And they even just did a live piece in Dallas on SportsCenter, and there's just no update. Just 37 minutes before tip.
Okay.
So I would like to bet against if one of those two or even both are out. I would think they might even take it off. But it's been a few days now. That was Saturday night for the final, and they've had 3 days off. But you can't. How can you give out a strong pick if strong opinion if those two guys you don't know if they're playing or not? The second half of the TNT game, I do know one player who's the impactful player, and that's Phoenix's Kevin Durant. So Durant is out the Phoenix Golden State game. Golden State is fully has everybody, including Draymond Green, in the projected lineup. Maybe a little bit against their
1 minute remaining.
Teammate is not playing. Maybe a little extra incentive for the Warriors on the road, catching one at Phoenix tonight.
All right, so we'll split the pick on the Golden Knights money line and the puck line. There may be a small play on the Warriors. You want to play the money line here, or are we going to take the point?
It's just 1 point. It doesn't matter, either way. So.
All right, so we got a couple plays, one on the ice and one in the association. All right,
wasn't that a rocking chair over last night without Tyreek Hill? I mean, how in the world did that thing go over?
When you're hot, you're hot. Where are you tomorrow, Otter?
Roca Pizzeria on Government Street.
Love it. Great spot right there on Government Street. All right, Otter, have a great show tomorrow. We appreciate it. Thank you. All right, be well. That is the one and only Jimmy Otter. All right, that's going to do it for us. Muse, Paulie, appreciate you. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, much about Traction, TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com, Traction, where champions are made. Get to TractionSports.com if you want to register your son or daughter. A couple things to remind you. We have the holiday camps. So for Christmas, they've got the baseball and the speed camps. So the baseball camp is what it says. It's baseball skills instruction. They'll play games as well. The speed camp, all different athletes, all different skill levels, all the way from ages 8 on up. They've got, if you're looking for something for your son or daughter to do during this holiday while they're out of school, TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. Remember also, mention it, Traction Elite Physical Therapy. If you've been injured, you need to get back in the game, your doctor has prescribed physical therapy, or you need physical therapy, you choose your physical therapist. Choose the same physical therapist and clinic that professional and collegiate athletes choose. Traction Elite Physical Therapy, right there on the Traction campus on Burbank. It's Traction, where champions are made.
Bayou Ford is taking $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ford Expedition. $15,000 off new Ford Expedition. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.